Welcome to the Poverty Franchise Podcast. I'm Ethan,
I'm Khalil.
and today we're going to be talking about Western Conference Finals, or the conference finals for the NBA, and the draft lottery, which just happened yesterday, and some mock draft stuff. Khalil, you want to start out?
Yeah. I mean, there's not too much to say about the conference finals. I didn't get to watch much of the Bucks Celtics series because my main source for watching the NBA is League Pass, and for the
Mhm.
playoffs, League Pass isn't all that useful. But in the games I watched, it was always really close and competitive.
Mhm.
And then to see the last game be near 20-point win, I think for the Celtics, it was close to 20 points that the Celtics won by, and their leading scorer being Grant Williams, having 27 and being like 9 for 12 from three. That's, I mean, hey, that's what it is. Usually, role players play best at home, so they had home
Whenever the
court advantage.
Celtics, whenever the Celtics won, Grant Williams actually had like double digits in all those games.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't even realize that. So
in
see,
all four games, he had double digits.
Grant Williams
So
is a demon. He should be in
bro's
the
that guy.
MVP conversation. Um, yeah. So as far as that, I don't really care too much about Celtics Bucks because I didn't get to watch
Yeah.
too much of that. Sucks that Giannis isn't going to be able to go back to back. I was really rooting for him to at least go back to back and make it twice, but
Mhm.
unfortunately he's not. As far as Sixers Heat, I don't know if that ended during the last episode. I think like while we were on
Yes.
episode it ended, but
Yes.
just to talk about that for a little bit, the 76ers were eliminated in six by the Heat. They got blown out in the last game because James Harden didn't show up. So it's a Celtics Heat Eastern Conference Finals. Who do you have?
I got Celtics in 7. I called it last time with when they went against the Bucks. I have them in 7 again. They lost that first game, I know, but I think
Yeah,
they can come back.
I mean, if you're picking them to win in 7, that means you're also picking them to lose 3 games. So this game
Yeah,
is just one of the 3 they're going to lose
it's
to
one
you.
of the 3.
Um, it's hard for me to say because going in, I would have said Celtics just because I think they both are really good defensively, and then I just think
Hmm.
Jason Tatum is a better bucket getter than Jimmy Butler is. But the Heat have so much just veteran presence on that team that
Hmm.
it's hard for me to. I mean, they've done it before. They went to the finals with pretty much the exact same team as they have now, except add on Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker. Otherwise, oh, and then I don't think Max Strus or what's the other guard's name? I forget. But Max Strus or that other guard
Oladipo?
there. No,
Oladipo.
Oladipo as well wasn't on the team, but
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler and Bam and Tyler were the 3 main guys were still there, and they've already
Hmm.
been to the finals one time, so they've been in this situation. The Celtics have also been in this situation. I think they went
They
to
played against each other in the conference finals
of
in the
that
bubble.
year.
Yeah.
Uh, the Celtics also went to the conference finals against LeBron in
Hmm.
2018. I think they went against LeBron again in 2019. So the Celtics have been in this conference finals
It's
spot
nothing new to
before.
them. It's
So
just them capitalizing on it
yeah,
and getting through it.
yeah. They both have enough experience to be prepared for this moment. It's hard for me to pick. I
Hmm.
think it's a really good series and it's really
Yeah,
close.
for sure.
Like I I'm not mad at the Celtics in 7. I'm not mad at the Heat in 7. I just know it's going 7. I feel like it's going 7. So
Yeah.
just to be different from you, I'm gonna go Heat in 7, but
Hmm.
I'm not mad at Celtics in 7 at all.
Yeah, I could see that because it's pretty much going to come down to who can hit the more difficult shot
Yeah,
or who can get that tough bucket.
and
Although it was like a block party yesterday
yeah,
because so many people were getting blocks. It's
and low
crazy.
key, someone who's been really underrated throughout the playoffs has been Jimmy Butler. Like I feel like
Yeah.
had like 5 or 6 40-point games. Um, and no one's really talking about him all that much. The focus has really been on like Jason Tatum. Not to say he doesn't deserve his credit because Jason Tatum has been playing out of his mind too. But Jimmy
Yeah.
Butler's he's definitely been one of the best players. You could argue he
To
was
not get
the
recognition.
right. You could argue he's was the best player in this year's playoffs thus far.
Sure.
Luca, of course, is up there. Who's another guy? You could say Giannis when he was in. You could say Giannis. He
You
was
could
putting
say
up.
Bam.
Bam has been. I mean, Bam has been
I
good.
can. I'm gonna say Bam because I think he's a candidate up there, but Jimmy's just better. Like if
Yeah.
Bam were to be on a different team, like
Bam
he would
has
get
been
more.
good,
Yeah.
but I mean, Jimmy Butler's been great. Oh, I mean,
Hmm.
you could put Ja in there for the little bit he was in, although he got hurt. There's been a lot of
Yeah.
guys who showed up in the playoffs. I'm really trying to think of who else was really good in the playoffs. It's been Tatum, Jimmy Butler, and Luca really as my
pretty
main three
much.
guys who have been great. Uh, but yeah, that's gonna be a great series. I really look
Hmm.
forward to that. Western Conference, Game 6
Mavs.
Clay. Let's go with
Oh,
Grizzlies Warriors first.
yeah.
Game 6 Clay. So that happened. The Grizzlies were gonna lose either way because they didn't have Ja, and even if they
Mhm.
ended up winning the series, they wouldn't have had Ja this series or in the finals. So pretty
Yeah,
much Ja was done. Um, so I didn't really have high expectations. If you're a Grizzlies fan, you shouldn't be disappointed because this is more
it's
than you
kind of
could have asked for.
expected. Yeah,
The fact that they even got it to 6, they really should have lost in 5 if the Warriors just decided to show up that game. Um, but yeah, Warriors are in the Western Conference Finals. I think did did you pick the Warriors in the Grizzlies Warriors series when we
I
did that prediction?
I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah,
I think we both picked them. I just
yeah. We
picked them
both picked them. You picked
in
them in 6, I think.
yeah, and I think you picked
Yeah, I
them in
think.
5.
Yeah, I think I picked them in 5.
So either way, that's actually a really good guess because there was a chance that they did win in 5. They just fumbled it
Mhm.
and they ended up winning in 6. Um, but yeah, I think successful season for the Grizzlies. They're gonna be back next year. Hopefully, Ja can recover perfectly fine and everything like
Come
that.
back
But
healthy.
yeah, uh, but the big
Mm.
series, the big thing that happened since the last episode was the Mavericks beat the Suns. Not only did they beat the Suns, they beat the Suns on home court, and not only that, but Luca had
Blew them
more.
out.
Yeah, a blowout. Luca had the same amount of points as the Suns did at halftime. Like absolutely, what I've never seen a team score 27 points at halftime, like an NBA team.
That's crazy.
That's like high school numbers. Like
Yeah.
I just Devin Booker didn't show up, Chris Paul didn't show up, DeAndre Ayton didn't show up, McCall Bridges really didn't show up either. Like no one on that team really.
Oh, did you see Luca outperformed everyone on that team in the series?
Yeah, he
I
had
think.
more points
Yeah.
than Booker, more assists than Chris Paul, more rebounds than Ayton, and more steals than
Yeah.
McCall. Yeah, that's
It's
just
crazy.
wild, bro. This guy is gonna go down as one of the greatest playoff performers of all time. I think he's still second in playoff points per game behind Michael Jordan, but it might have
Mhm.
just switched.
Yeah.
Like he's at 34, 35 points per game, and then Jordan's at like 36, which is
Mhm.
really insane to think about because
It's
Jordan was always
crazy.
in the playoffs. But Luca has been one of the best playoff performers in the league for the last three or so years. So I'm not really shocked that he played well. I was shocked at the fact that they blew them out.
Yeah.
Spencer Dinwiddie was great that game.
He actually stepped up that game. Like
Yeah,
versus the whole series, he was
that was
pretty
easily
cold.
his best game.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else was pretty good. I think Jalen Brunson was pretty solid that game, if I
Mhm.
remember correctly. That game feels like it was so long ago, but it really wasn't.
It was
It was Sunday.
Sunday, I
Yeah,
believe.
it was Sunday. Wasn't even that long ago. It was like 3 days ago, but still feels like a long time ago.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so we got not Grizzlies, Warriors, Mavericks. Who you got there?
I got Warriors in 7
Warriors and 7.
because Luca can take games away. But I
Yeah,
also think Maxi Kleba can space it out. Like
yeah,
if he takes Draymond out of the play, that opens up the paint, I guess,
yeah,
or whoever's guarding Maxi, and it pretty much tests the defense of the Warriors, I guess.
yeah. No, definitely. I honestly, the first thing I thought of when I saw the Mavericks were playing the Warriors, I was like, they don't have a center like that.
Yeah,
Like their biggest player is Kevon Looney, and he had
Kevon
22.
Looney, he had
He had
22 boards.
Yeah, but I don't
Yeah,
think that's happening this game. The Mavericks actually rebound the ball really well for a team without a center like they are.
hmm
But I think the fact that the Mavericks don't or the Warriors don't really have a great center, I could see the Mavericks winning it. Like
I'm not
I
against that.
only thing that scares me is how much Luka's gonna have to step up on defense. And he was good in the last couple games of the
Mhm.
the Sun series on defense, but like Steph is a different kind of animal. I don't know if he could hold Steph. They could try and hide him on defense, but I don't know how you hide
You can't
anyone
really
on
hide him
defense.
against that
The
team or that.
Warriors,
Yeah,
you can't hide him. Steve Kerr is back officially. I think he got cleared like yesterday or the day before. But
Oh wow.
I think you're gonna go Warriors in 7. I'm gonna go just to be
Yes.
different. I'm gonna go Mavericks in 7. But I could see
Okay.
it for both of these. I could see it going either way, and I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
shocked if either team wins it.
Mhm.
They're actually playing right now, I believe, or their game's about to
If not
start.
starting up soon, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think their game starts. No, their game starts now.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's the big thing for the NBA playoffs currently. Another thing we could talk about, I guess, is what's it called? The rookie teams, because that just
Oh
dropped
yeah.
a few minutes before. The rookie first team, I'm gonna try and just say them off the top of my head without searching it up. First team was Cade. It was Jalen Green. It was Franz Wagner. It was Evan Mobley, and it was Scotty Barnes. I already know that's the first team.
Mhm.
I was a little disappointed to not see Josh Giddey there, but I guess I could see the Franz Wagner thing because he was pretty solid this
He
year.
was pretty good for like the first 2 months of the year.
Yeah. So I'm not too mad at it. I just always am
Mhm.
gonna root for my guy to get all rookie first team.
Yeah.
But he didn't end up getting it. He was probably, if I had to guess based off of the votes, he probably had the most votes for first team as a second teamer. Like it was
Mhm.
probably close, but he just didn't end up making it this time. As far as second team, it was Bones Highland, Josh Giddey, as I said. It was Herbert Jones. It was Chris Duarte, and it was one other person who I cannot remember. Chris Duarte, and I'm trying to think. I'm gonna search it up, but I don't know who it is. Wow, I
Ayo.
Ao. It was Ao.
Yeah.
So, I mean, solid team. I'm not too mad at
I'm
anything.
not
I
mad
think
about it.
Bones got his little mention. That's kind of cool.
Mhm.
I don't know what Austin Reeves' numbers were like actually on the season, but I thought he could have made it. But for the people they picked over him, it makes some sense.
Yeah.
He probably got some second team votes. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I didn't really have any complaints about it. I just want to see Josh Giddey get first team.
Yeah.
That's my big thing.
I think he totally could have made it because he dropped triple doubles, and that's
Yeah.
something that's new,
Yeah,
and he's a rookie.
yeah. He has the
That's
youngest
great.
triple double of all time, the second youngest triple double of all time, and the third youngest triple double of all time. Wild, wild
crazy.
numbers, bro. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about
Yeah.
the current state of the
Oh.
NBA.
Do you want to do finals predictions?
Yeah, we could do it again. I think we made
Okay.
one when we did the second round predictions, and I think we got them
But now that we actually know
the
what
final
teams-
four.
Yeah.
I'm going Heat versus Mavericks. Heat winning.
Celtic versus Warriors. Celtic winning.
I think the champion is for sure coming out of the East though.
Yeah.
I like 100%.
The East defense is just way too good.
Yeah, both of those defensive teams are. I think both teams match up really well. Specifically, the Heat. Like if the
Yeah.
Heat go against the Warriors, I think they match up super well against the Warriors.
Mhm.
And then if they go against the Mavericks, then they're fit to guard Luka. I mean, Luka's still gonna get his buckets, but like they
They have more
definitely-
bodies to throw than any other team.
Definitely. Celtics. I would like to see the Celtics. Well, I would like to see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown win a championship. I don't really like the Celtics, like as a team or like their
Yeah.
fans.
Yeah, I can see
But
that.
I do want to see both of them get a ring. That'd be kind of cool.
Mhm.
The team I'm rooting for to win, I would say, is the Mavericks, though.
Yeah, I can see that. I like that.
Rooting for the
I want-
Mavericks, but I'm predicting
Go
the
ahead.
Heat.
Mhm. I want the Celtics to win it because I'm a big Jaylen Brown fan, and bro's just I love him.
Yeah.
Just so fun
Although
to
he
watch.
didn't show up last game, I didn't watch it.
We
but
don't talk about that. We don't talk. Bro got packed by Bam. We don't talk about
Yeah.
that.
I think all four teams have a chance to win it. Well, I mean, of course, if you're in the final four, you have a
Yeah.
chance to make it. But all four teams have a legit like case as to
Contending.
why they
Yeah.
could win it. Out of the four teams, rank them on how likely you think they are to win it. I honestly want to hear where you are on this.
I'm probably gonna have to go Heat, Celtics, Warriors, Mavs.
Okay, we're on the same page. I think
Yeah.
it's the same way. It's Heat, Celtics, Warriors, Mavs. Yeah, and not like the Mavs are very close
Yeah.
to them. It's just
Although I do have the Celtics beating the Heat in the conference final, the Heat are just the better team, I guess.
Mhm. It's close though. It's going
Yeah.
7. It's going 7. I think both way in both the East and the West, which is
Mhm.
great. We need more game 7s, so
Yeah.
especially for our conference finals. Like,
The tension and the pressure.
so you have Celtics versus who in the finals? Warriors.
Warriors. Yes.
How many games would you have that going?
7.
Let's just have more game 7s.
Yeah.
Heat Warriors. I think Heat Warriors. I got Heat in 6.
I could say 6.
I
Yeah.
think that's a confident 6. It depends on how good Klay Thompson ends up being, though.
Mhm.
Because if we get some good Klay games, then I can see the Warriors really winning it. But if he keeps up the same inconsistencies he's had throughout the playoffs, then I don't know.
Mhm.
But yeah,
You think anyone's gonna choke a 3-1 lead?
no, not any of these teams. I don't
Okay.
think the Warriors are going to do it. Not again. They learned
Mhm.
from the first time, and then I don't think the Mavericks probably are the most likely to choke a 3-1 lead, but I don't think they would get a 3-1 lead in the first place. That's the thing.
Mhm.
The Heat definitely wouldn't choke a 3-1 lead. The Celtics
Celtics
definitely
aren't.
wouldn't choke
Yeah.
a 3-1 lead. I don't see that happening. Anything else happen? That was big.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. So now we're on to the
Get into the
main
draft.
thing for this episode, which is a mock draft. Yesterday, big day for me as a Thunder fan. We had the NBA draft lottery, and Oklahoma City, as you see here, second pick went up from 4 to 2. The main move of the draft was the Kings moving up to 4, the Pistons moved down to 5, the Blazers moved from 6 to 7. But other than that, it was straight chalk from picks 14 to, I want to say, 8. From 14 to 8, no one moved up. Then we saw the Blazers move down, and we knew someone moved up. So
Mhm.
for the last, I want to say 2 weeks, both of us have been studying the like 30-ish,
Prospects.
30 or so prospects each. We both developed our own big boards. This isn't my big board right here. This is the official ESPN big board. I have my big board right next to me. And I also have my notes on each prospect, but we are going to do a full first round mock draft, not just lottery. We're doing the full first round. Ethan's taking evens. I'm
No, I
taking
got odds.
evens.
Yeah.
Ethan's taking odds because I want to pick all of the Thunder picks. That's all. I
Okay.
think I actually picked for the Nuggets too. I'm not sure though.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
So you want me to start it?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So with the first pick, I got the Magic selecting Chet Holmgren because he played at AAU with Jalen Suggs, and their connection goes back to AAU, which is like high school. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And pretty much Chet, I'm sure we've all heard of him. He's a great defender. His blocks come from his arm length and his height. Bro's
Mhm.
7'1", or not 7. He's 7 foot, and his paint defense is great. He avoids fouls,
Mhm.
and he's a lethal 3-point shooter. His shot is like a KD type shot, where it's pretty much unguardable. Its
Easily,
release point is so high,
he probably
Yeah.
has like the second or first most unblockable shot in the draft, I would say.
easily. And then he challenges everything around the rim. It doesn't matter if he's going to get dunked on, Bo will still jump with you.
He jumps.
It doesn't matter if
yeah.
he's going against LeBron, he'll contest it. But his weaknesses are his frame. We've all
That's the
seen
big.
that.
That's the big one.
It's major.
Yeah.
His upper and lower body strength, which again comes with that frame, but I think it's workable. You
yeah.
can work with that. Just training. NBA training will give you that muscle.
Mhm.
And his frame leads to harder finishing around the rim, obviously, because he needs
Mhm.
strength, and he kind of lacks that.
Mhm.
Finishing through contact comes with that as well. And
Mhm.
if he's in the perimeter, he doesn't have the quickest feet. But again, I think it's trainable.
Yeah.
But another downside is he's a bit older. He graduated high school at 19.
Oh yeah. So he would be 21 on draft day, I would assume.
Yes.
Yeah, because if he graduated at 19, that means his birthday has to be in like early in the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think all of his weaknesses are rooted in the fact that he has a small frame. Like
Mhm.
for the weaknesses, I put a lot of the things you said. He has bad balance at times because of the lack of base
Mhm.
strength. He's not a great screener because he's just not that like strong.
Yeah.
He's not an amazing rebounder because again, you have to be strong to get rebounds. That's part of it. You
Mhm.
can be tall, but if you're not strong, it
You have
doesn't
to
really
come down with it. It doesn't
right.
matter.
And I put he could also improve as a playmaker, but he's shown flashes. It's not really a
He's
weakness, but it's somewhere he could
yeah,
improve.
he distributes well from the post, is what I've seen.
Yeah.
Like just those post ups and then kicking it out to someone. But for his player comp, for now,
Oh,
since
hold
he
on.
doesn't have the biggest frame, I have I have his player comp as like a better Alex Pokushevsky, like a better
Definitely.
version because we've all seen it.
I think my
Poku, he folds under pressure, I guess,
Mhm.
and Chet kind of stays composed.
Yeah.
Go
My
ahead.
player comp for him was pre-injury Porzingis, not now
Mhm.
Porzingis. Pre-injury Porzingis or Evan, like a mixture of both. But
Yeah,
it's hard to pick a player comp for him because no one really plays like him. Like a
I
7-3.
just said Poku because of their size and he can shoot.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, that's fair. I think Chet Holmgren is Poku like 3.0.
Yeah.
Like Chet Holmgren is a iPhone 14 and Poku is a flip phone compared to what Chet
Oh my
Holmgren is.
God.
I do have a question though. Did you have Chet number 1 on your board or did you just pick him due to the Magic?
I picked him due to the Magic
Who's
because
okay?
because like he's gonna fit there.
Yeah, they don't really
Yeah.
need a. They definitely don't need a guard. They
So
really need like a rim protecting. They could really
yeah.
go all three, but
Hmm.
I see where you're going with Chet. Plus the little Jalen Suggs AAU connection
Yeah.
definitely helps. Um, but now I think we're gonna move on to number 2. I am now on the clock, and I, as a Thunder fan, am stuck between two guys. Uh, if you asked me this yesterday after the lottery, I would have had my pick for sure,
Hmm.
and I think I'm gonna go with my first mind. But I'm going Jabari Smith. I'm going Jabari Smith. I'm going Jabari Smith. Paolo is close. Paolo is definitely close. But to me, I just think Jabari Smith would work so well. He's a crazy shooter. Like for his size, an elite shooter. He shot 42% from 3 in college. He can shoot in transition, off the dribble, catch and shoot, pull up, all of that. He can make tough shots because of his wingspan. His shot, how you said Chet Holmgren's shot is unblockable.
Hmm.
Jabari Smith is
He
easily
takes it to the next level.
yeah, he's also unguardable. He's on like a KD level of unguardability as far as his shot is. He's a good perimeter defender. I put a very good perimeter defender, but more I looked into it more. I would say he's very good. He's not no elite
I put
defensive prospect.
good.
He's good. So he's capable of guarding the perimeter. He could probably guard 1 through 4. I'll say 1 through 5, but he can really guard 2 through 4. Because he can't really guard a super fast guard or a
Yeah.
super strong big, but like 2 through 4, I can see him guarding confidently.
Hmm.
He has nice size and versatility, as I said, 2 through 4, 1 through 5 possible. He's really young and he has time to grow. And when he is able to get to the rim, he is able to get to the line and draw contact, things like that. Some weaknesses I had for him is he does struggle to get to the rim at times.
Yeah.
He needs to find other ways to create shots for himself.
He has a good pull up mid range, like
Yeah,
a great mid range, and then a
he
good post fade too.
yeah, he just needs to figure out how to get to those spots without doing the same things,
Yeah,
over and over again.
because
Uh,
teams will adjust, pick up on
yeah,
it.
he needs to improve as a finisher. He's a below average finisher for his size. He's not a good rim protector. Not saying he's a bad one. He's just not
He's just
necessarily
not
good
good.
one. He's like a okay one. He's capable, but interior defense isn't his thing, really.
I think he can run like a pick and pop type role on
Yeah,
offense.
definitely. That's definitely where I see him. He's
Yeah,
definitely a
because
pop big
yeah, he can't
floor
really
spacer.
create it for himself like that, so he could just set it up and
Right.
then yeah.
And then I think my last weakness for him is he needs to improve as a passer. He's slow to make his reads at times,
Yeah.
but that's again coachable. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna go with Jabari Smith.
Do you have any player comps from?
Yeah, I do have player comps for him. My player comps were Rashard Lewis or Jaren Jackson Jr.
I put Jaren Jackson Jr. and then like a BI MPJ type thing without the dribbling
Yeah,
or
a
like without the
tall,
shot creating.
a
Yeah,
lanky guy who can shoot.
lanky.
He just
Yeah,
has
pretty
more muscle
much.
than those guys for sure. I see where
Mhm.
you're coming from. Yeah, it's you though. Houston 3.
Okay. So with Houston's pick, I got them taking Paulo Banchero. Did I say that right?
Yeah,
Did
you
I
did.
butcher that? Okay. Yeah, I got them taking Paulo Banchero because he's arguably the most offensively skilled player in the class. And he can do things, but he loves to like get the ball at the high elbow post area. Like that's his spot. That's where he could hit like a post fade or, get to the rim, get through the lane, all that stuff. And he creates his own shot 80% of the time in college at Duke, which is pretty great. And he can run like a secondary role, complementing Jalen Green, which is why I think he would fit on the Rockets. Because by the looks of it, they're trying to develop Jalen Green or what's his name?
Sengun,
No, the other
Kevin
one.
Porter Jr.
Kevin Porter Jr. Yes. Him.
hmm
His court awareness is great, and his age is also good. He's young, younger than Chet at least, and he will shoot the ball, but that can also go on the downside as well. Because if you're just trigger happy, that's bad news, obviously.
Yeah,
But his weaknesses are a low free throw percentage, which is 70. That's not low, but it's
it's
lower.
improvable.
Yeah. His motor is questionable. Boards, blocks, and shot choice, as I mentioned earlier,
hmm
where he would kind of force a shot when he doesn't need to.
hmm
But no, not shy. His high shot tendency it can get fixed. It's
Mhm.
coachable. He has all-star potential. He's a great mid-range guy, and his threes are pretty much strictly catch and shoot. But
Yeah, I like
yeah.
Paolo. I think for the Rockets, they're just in a situation where whatever two guys go, they just get the third one, really.
hmm
Because I imagine if I were to have taken Paolo, you would have taken Jabari here, huh?
Yeah, probably.
So, um, I do want to know your ranking on those three guys. Like, what order does it go in?
I got Paulo 1,
hmm
Chet 2, Jabari 3. Just because Paulo can do more offensively.
hmm
And then Chet 2 because the rim protecting. And Jabari 3 because he's just the torch. You can't pass up on that.
I think my order is Chet, Paolo, Jabari. But
hmm
I mean, you would think since I think Paolo is better, I would take Paolo.
Yeah.
The thing is, I just think Jabari. I'm very very confident Jabari is going to be good,
hmm
whereas I think he has the lowest like ceiling of those three guys. I just think he's going to be like I know he's going to be good because you can't
hmm
take someone's jumper away from them. He's going to have that forever.
Yeah.
He's going to always be able to space the floor at the bare minimum. With Paolo, you got to question his motor, um, some of his shot. He's a good shot creator, but he could definitely improve his handle,
Yeah.
things like that. And he's very mid-range heavy. And I don't know if whatever team, well, since we haven't gone to the Rockets, I don't know if the Rockets are going to want him taking mid-range jump shots when that's
Yeah.
probably the least effective shot on the court in the modern NBA. It's either threes, layups, or free throws, really. And he's not a great three-point shooter or a great free throw shooter. So that's the thing that
hmm
scares me a little bit. I think he's gonna be fine in a modern NBA, but had
hmm
this been like 2013, he's going one, no question.
hmm
Um, my player comps for him, I want to know yours as well, but I had Julius Randle and Chris Webber.
I got Julius Randle as well because of the post work.
Yeah, but not now. Julius Randle,
Oh
like
yeah.
like last season.
Yeah.
Julius
Last
Randle.
season. Yeah.
He's not gonna be a bum. Like we got
yeah.
this. Yeah. Some extra strengths that I don't think you mentioned. He has an NBA level body, like as far as putting on muscle
Oh
things
yeah.
like that. Out of the three, he's definitely the most NBA ready.
Built for it.
Yeah, he has good touch around the rim. He's a pretty solid finisher, and he has really good footwork in the post, things
hmm
like that. Very good footwork. He can comfortably dribble the ball in transition, and he has good physicality and creativity around the rim. I like I like all three of the guys. I really don't know if by draft day I'm gonna have the same top three. I doubt I will. But actually, let me not even say that because those guys aren't my top three. My one is still on the board. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah. But my one is now because we're on the fourth pick. My one is now
Yeah.
getting drafted. My one is Jaden Ivey
Okay.
to the Kings, and I know they have Davion, they have De'Aaron.
hmm
Look, just play De'Aaron at the one, play Jaden at the two. Like Jaden and and De'Aaron both are very like fast. They want to push the pace kind of guards. Both of them are questionable jump shooters, which that can be improved on for both players. But I just think Jaden Ivey is just such a good prospect. He has such high potential. He's an elite athlete, high vertical on both 1 and 2 feet. His athleticism, as I said, makes him a threat in transition. Like he's gonna push
Mhm.
the floor. He's gonna be able to get above the rim. He's good at reading the court. He makes his reads quickly, and he makes good and accurate good passes. He's a deadly shooter when he has enough space. He can get to the lane at ease. Good passer in pick and roll, can play on or off the ball. He's able to draw fouls. The things that I had as weaknesses for him, his decision making can be poor, which can be coached up. They're not going to let a rookie go in there and just shoot everything they want.
Mhm.
He plays too aggressive on defense, which leads to stupid fouls and open shots by his man. Like he'll try and like go for a
Reach for a
steal
passing lane steal.
right
and
when he
then
doesn't have to.
yeah,
And then I put he's slightly turnover prone, which again can be improved. His player comparisons, the obvious one is Ja Morant, because I mean they have very similar frames. I think they would.
Mhm.
Oh well, Ivy wears 23 at Purdue, but they look like not the
They look
same.
pretty much almost identical.
Yeah, not like facially, but like they both have dreads. They both
Mhm.
play similarly, and they both have similar builds. Like
They're
that's
they're both also transition players. Like
right,
on the transition, they're both great.
right.
And so something that I have for what's this?
Ivy.
Jaden Ivey. Yeah. He performed when under the spotlight. I don't know if you guys understand. He performed when he was under the spotlight. Okay. So when Purdue played UNC, he had 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. So he's shown that he can do it on a high level.
Yeah,
UNC was like the 1 seed, I think. They were up
yeah.
there, and then
UNC was good in
yeah,
NCAA this year. I don't
yeah,
even
they
watch
were the
college
good in
basketball. I know they were good though.
yeah. But I don't know if you mentioned this, but he lacks the shooting touch. Like his jump shot needs that little
Yeah, so
oomph,
his jumper isn't
Yeah.
amazing, but if he's open enough, he can make it. I'm
Yeah.
confident in him making it.
But it's shown improvement, which is great because it's coachable. It will get improved hypothetically because it improved from his freshman to sophomore year.
Mhm.
But again, you mentioned decision making for shots, playmaking. It's not really bad. It's coachable.
It's
So
all of it is coachable for sure
yeah,
for Jaden Ivey. The other player comparison I had for him, this one is a
I had
little
D Wade and Donovan Mitchell and Jaw, obviously.
D Wade. I can see D. I see Donovan Mitchell.
Hmm.
D Wade. I don't know about. Mine was Victor Oladipo.
Mm.
Like not now Victor Oladipo, but like
Hmm.
all-star Victor Oladipo. I
Yeah,
don't know if he's the defender of Oladipo, but offensively they have very similar games. But the obvious, player comparison is Ja.
Jaw.
That's the
Yeah.
obvious one
He also has a 6'9" wingspan. You should just
for a guard, which is
notice
great.
that. Yeah. Bro's only 6'4" with a 5-inch longer wingspan, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
Cool.
we're at pick number 5. Detroit, the biggest
Detroit.
faller of the draft. They went from 3 to 5.
Okay, so I got 2 people that they could possibly take. Although, yeah, I'm probably gonna have them taking AJ Griffin out of Duke.
Oh wow. I
Yeah.
definitely can't say I'm not surprised. AJ Griffin.
Bro's age is a plus. He's a sniper. He can create his own shot. He has a 7-foot wingspan at 6'6". Yeah, and he's pretty much he can get his. I think he can get his athleticism back from high school. He lost it due to injuries.
Yeah, ankle
And
and knee.
knee. Yeah, but he can definitely get them back if trained properly. A lot of lifting, calisthenics, all that stuff.
Mhm.
But I think it can improve. But although if it doesn't improve, it's going to be below average for the NBA. That's the downside. It's questionable,
Mhm.
But his shooting form is very questionable, bro. Like he starts at a wide stance and it looks like he's just chucking the
no,
ball
no,
up.
no. His stance is really wide. He's gonna have to
It
like
works though.
yeah,
That's
I
the
don't know if you
thing.
can if you should or can coach someone who's good at shooting and fix their jumper. But like, I mean, Lonzo got his jumper fixed,
Yeah.
and he wasn't a good shooter at the time, but he went from a bad shooter to a good shooter. Can you make a good shooter go stay at a good shooter and just change something about their jumper? I wonder if they can.
Mhm.
Did you have AJ Griffin? Where did you have him on your board?
I had him like 5-ish, five,
Five.
6 area. Yeah.
I have him 8 on mine.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna say I hate the pick because he's still a top 10
Yeah.
prospect for me. Personally, the things that I didn't really love about him, the injury thing was something like that I
Yeah.
took into consideration because you
Hmm.
don't want to draft someone who has injury concerns necessarily. I think he's an inconsistent defender. And even when he's playing at his best as a defender, he's not a great defender. He's a okay defender. He's neutral. He's not going to get beat on that side a lot, but he's definitely not going to be a huge playmaker. And his shot creating could be a little better because he was on Duke with all of the other
Stars.
five
Yeah.
first round guys that are going to get drafted. Um, but I could see it. He could fit next to Cade, give him a chance to grow. They're not in any rush to have someone who can perform immediately, but you know, I'm
That's
fine
pretty
with the
much what
pick.
I was targeting though. Like develop or help Cade because he needs as much help as he can get. They
Right.
have Jeremy Grant, but like that's only gonna get them. That's only gonna develop him so
And
much.
I think they're going to trade Jeremy Grant this year. So
Yeah.
yeah, I like the Pistons young core. And then if they add on AJ Griffin, I wouldn't be mad at that.
Hmm.
Personally, I have AJ Griffin 8 on my board, but he's like 8 or 7, like 8 or 7
Yeah.
for me. Uh, but that's not too far off of his value, so I'm not mad at that. He definitely has very high potential though, and I do hope to see him pan out. Do you have any player comparisons for him? Because I don't.
I don't.
Yeah, I couldn't find one that I felt was good enough because
Yeah.
he has so much potential that you don't really know what he'll end up as.
Yeah.
Uh, but I mean, even if he's not amazing right away, he'll be able to shoot the ball right away. He'll be a floor
Hmm.
spacer at the least. Um, do you see him as a 3 or a 2?
Mm,
Because I think he could play both. But where do you see him at?
I see him more as a 2, less than a 3, just because of his defense.
Hmm.
But his size can also pick up for that because he has a 7-foot wingspan, as I mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
So he could play both.
yeah, definitely. I think Cade next to AJ Griffin is a nice little backcourt there.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh, I do have a couple guys who I would have preferred in a backcourt with Cade. I mean, honestly, if I was the Pistons, I really want Jaden Ivey because I think a
Yeah,
Jaden Ivey Cade backcourt would be insane and would be so fun to watch.
so flashy.
But I'll take AJ Griffin or one other guy who I think is good. I'm not gonna say him because he's gonna get picked in the future, but
I love this guy.
yeah. But we are at 6 with Indiana, and I think this is a perfect fit. I'm going Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray, I think, was one of the earliest prospects I scouted, and I was honestly very impressed.
Yeah.
He's just a very solid player. He has some of the best stats, probably the best stats out of any of the top guys. Really, his stats are better than like Paolo's a bit, but usually stats don't really carry over in from the NBA to or from college to the NBA. They don't really care about that all that much.
That was shown with like Luca Garza,
Yeah, definitely. I was
a
just
guy
about to
who
say that.
dominated the college scene, but he didn't do anything with the NBA.
Yeah, because it's more than just how much you perform; it's what they see from you.
Yeah.
But for Keegan Murray, a good finisher at the rim. You could accredit that to his athleticism and his wingspan. Versatile defender, can guard at times on the perimeter due to his speed, and he can also hold his own in the paint. He can shoot off the dribble or catch, drives and pick and pop looks. Comfortable in the post. He has good footwork and strength. He's too fast for bigs and too strong for wings. Mismatch him nightmare. He's comfortable in the fast break. I don't know why I put struggles to finish through contact in his strengths. That's a weakness. Um, he knows where to be on defense. He's a good help side defender, and he's good positioning on. He has good positioning on rebounds, and he's an
Mhm.
active rebounder. I really, really like
I like that
Keegan
pick.
Murray to Indiana. Honestly, I didn't do a lot of team fits for players. I only did it for some of the early ones. But the first team I put for Keegan Murray was Indiana. I think he's not the greatest rim protector, as we know,
Mhm.
but he's going to be able to play right next to Miles Turner, who's going to do the rim protecting. He can just be a help side defender if he needs to be, pick up on the perimeter, be a little help defender. And he's not like the anchor of the defense, even though he can play some backup small ball five in
Mhm.
some looks. He also would benefit a lot from having good playmakers. And Tyrese Halliburton is a very good playmaker.
He's a great playmaker.
He had a couple games where I think he had 15 plus assists, or he had one where he had 17 for sure.
Wow.
I don't know if he had another game with that many assists, but Tyrese Halliburton is a great passer. Some
Mhm.
weaknesses for Keegan: he's a bit of a freelance defender. Like he tries to wander and get blocks, steals, things like that,
Yeah.
instead of staying on his man. He's not a great playmaker. He can struggle to read the floor at times.
His lateral mobility may be an issue against like the shifty guards,
Yeah,
but then he really shouldn't be on them in the first place.
right.
He's
Like
bro 6'8". Yeah.
most guys won't be able to guard a shifty one,
Yeah.
but I think he's more capable than like Chet,
Yeah, for sure.
but he's not Bam Adebayo.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's definitely not Bam Adebayo. He's more powerful than explosive athletically. Like if he gets enough time to get into his jump, he can get high up, but he's not going
Yeah.
to just spring up. He's not that kind of athlete. He's older. He's
21.
21. And his point of release on his jumper is a little bit low, and his jumper is a little bit slow.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think he needs to create a bigger bag of moves to create for himself. But he won't have to create for himself nearly as much because he'll have actual
You have
playmakers
Tyrese.
around him.
Yeah.
I think that weakness was more credited to the fact that in college he's getting more looks where he has to create for himself. In the NBA, he won't be doing that.
Although if he ever does need to create his own shot, he has a reliable step back shot which he turns to a lot.
Yeah, he has moves. I just think he could
Mhm.
develop some more, just so he has more alternatives. Um,
Some things that I have on him is that he has great straight line speed, like fast
Mhm.
break type speed,
yeah,
and his outlet passing is a plus. It's good.
yeah,
It's good enough at least. And yeah, oh, when facing good defenders, his 2-point percentage drops from 61 to 51.
yeah. That was the most out of any like
Yeah.
top prospect, I think. So that could be a bit of an issue, but that's something that I think can be improved on.
Yeah.
I don't know if it can be coached
For a,
necessarily, but
mhm. For a player comp, do you have any?
I have
Because
two.
it was the guy you drafted. Go ahead.
Kyle Kuzma, like now Kyle Kuzma, like
Mhm.
Wizards Kyle Kuzma, and then Jeremy Grant. I
I
don't
got
think he
Obi
has.
Toppin. Oh, go ahead.
I don't think he has like all-star, all NBA type potential. I just think he's to be really
Mhm.
solid. I mean, he has all-star potential. I wouldn't say like perennial all-star potential. Maybe a couple
Mhm.
times in his career he wins or he ends up in it, but I still think he's solid. But who did you have?
I got Obi Toppin with a jumper.
That's fair.
Or Pascal Siakam.
Both of those are fair. I like both of
Yeah.
those. But I really like Keegan Murray. I think so far, I think every team's won. I don't think anyone's had like a pick where I'm like, eh. The only pick I
Mhm.
was like that was the AJ Griffin one, but that's just because I had
Yeah.
like a couple guys over him. But I'm
Mhm.
still not really even opposed to that. But this pick is tough for you. I'm glad I'm not making this pick for the Blazers because I honestly don't know what they do.
Bro, I don't know. So I don't want them to reach for a center
Mhm.
because the best available, you know,
I mean, I like
Benedict Mathurin out of Arizona. I love this guy.
wow. Okay, Benedict Mathurin is your guy. I want to
Yeah.
hear you explain
Okay.
this to me.
So I like him because he's a 3-and-D player. He's
Mhm.
a good 3-point shooter. He's comfortable in the catch and shoot. He has a decent pull up, and he's an explosive finisher, off ball player. He
Mhm.
also has connections to Lugens Dort. He posts him every now and then on a story. I don't know if you've seen it. Pretty
I
sure you
think
have.
yeah. Wait, how are they connected? Are they both Canadian and they both
They
are
both went to Arizona, I think.
Lou Dort went to Arizona State, but Arizona State,
Oh,
that's still same area. I think they're
mhm.
both Canadian though.
Okay.
Benedict, I'll search it up, but you continue what you're saying.
Yeah, they're both connected, and he has great instinct on the defensive side of the ball. He's an on-ball defender who will draw charges, and he's pretty much a defensive demon. When finishing around the rim, though, he can absorb contact and he knows how to get to the lane. But his weaknesses are the shot creating because it's inconsistent a little bit,
Mm.
passing and decision making, which both come hand in hand, which are coachable and they can get improved upon. And I think he's a little sleeper pick. That's just my opinion because I like 3-and-D players, but I'm a big fan of him. And for a player comp, Lugens Dort but better out of college.
That's fair. I think he's Lou Dort with less D, more three.
Yeah.
I put his player comparison as Devin Vassell, 2.5. Um, he's like a better version of Devin Vassell. His strengths are definitely the 3-point shooting. He's comfortable in all aspects of shooting the three. He's active at moving the ball, moving off ball. He moves with purpose off the ball. He's comfortable attacking closeouts and can put it on the floor. And he's a capable on-ball defender, very capable on-ball defender. Some weaknesses I had for him are he's over aggressive on defense, which leads to stupid fouls.
Yeah.
He has a smaller frame, which can be built upon. It's not Chet small, but he just definitely could put a little bit more muscle on. Sometimes on offense, he can play a little too fast. He needs to improve as a passer, which you said, but there's potential as a passer. It's not like he can't pass the ball. There's some potential. And then his handle could be a little loose. Now I have the hiccups, but
Oh my gosh.
at first I was shocked,
go ahead.
but now that you justified it, I could see it because for the Blazers, they're not going for someone who they're gonna have to develop. They're going for someone
Yeah.
who can help them win now. Because they, of course, they're keeping Dame. They have Anthony Simons.
They got
Nurkic
that
is-
CJ replacement, which is pretty much Anthony.
Yeah, and then what's it called? I mean, Nurkic is a free agent this offseason, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, I mean, I like the pick. I don't know. I had Benedict Mathurin 10 on my board, but he
Ooh.
was like my 10 through 7 can be interchanged in any order. It's really close. Honestly, my 10 through 6 can be changed in any order, and it's really close. Benedict Mathurin is very solid, though. I'm not mad at that pick, because I was just shocked that he got taken.
Yeah.
Um,
I just really like him.
no, it's fair, very fair. I think he's very, very, very promising, and even he has the floor of just a solid 3-and-D player, but he definitely could turn into a 3-level scorer with some
Yeah,
defensive
for sure.
bite to him. I would say his floor is like a more defensive Tim Hardaway. His ceiling is like Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think he has a Jaylen Brown level ceiling.
I can see that.
He also is Canadian. I searched it up. He is
Okay.
Canadian. But number 8, Pelicans. I'm gonna reach a little deeper onto my board. I'm going with my point guard 1 in this class, Dyson Daniels, out of the G League. I really like this guy. I just think, okay, for New Orleans, they really don't need to have a top 10 pick because they were just in the playoffs. But this is the Laker pick, of course. I really like Dyson Daniels. He is player comp to me, a little biased, but they're both tall Australian guards. So Josh Giddey,
Bro, I have that player comp too. You're fine.
it's definitely valid though. They play similarly. I honestly think he's like Josh Giddey with a better 3-point jump shot coming out of, not college, because Giddey played overseas and that he's coming into the draft, coming into the NBA. Some strengths I have for him are he's versatile and can play multiple positions. He's a good rebounder for a guard, natural passer. Like he's always looking to get his teammates involved. That's his thing.
He is flashy. Like he is creative when passing. I love
Definitely a creative passer. He has good defensive instincts. Active hands allow him to get some easy steals, things like that. He has shooting potential as a spot up, not so much off the dribble or pull up, but catch and shoot. He's got that. He's got that potential. I wouldn't say he has it in his bag because he shot 30% from the 3 in the G League. He's comfortable in the fast break. He's good at finishing when downhill. He knows how to use his size. If he has to stop and like if he pump fakes on his way to the paint or something like that, it could be a struggle for him. And he has a good defensive motor. He's always giving good effort on the defensive side of the ball. No questions asked.
His potential is high, for sure.
Yeah, definitely high potential.
He has a 6'11" wingspan, standing at 6'8". And for his player comps, as you mentioned, Giddey, I have that same thing. And he has a very high upside just due to his size and what he can already do.
He
like
sees
those
the court so well for a rookie.
Those guard skill points in a big body, it isn't fair.
Right. He does have weaknesses though, so he's not like the perfect prospect.
Yeah.
I think he's too unselfish. Like he's such a good passer, it hurts him a bit. He'll pass up some really good looks trying to, set up his teammates, which isn't something that you're mad at. Of course, you like a guy who moves the ball. but sometimes when you pass out of good looks, it can mess up the flow of the offense. So
Yeah.
that's something that could be coached up. Tell him to be a little more aggressive on the offensive side as a scorer. His shooting is inconsistent, but he can hit it. He's an
His free throw
average
percentage
athlete.
is 53.3%.
Yeah, no, the free throws is bad. He also
Yeah.
doesn't get to the line very much. Because of course, unless he's downhill, he's not the greatest finisher. For someone who's his size, he should really improve on that. He needs to put on some muscle. He needs to improve his handle. It's effective, but it's just really basic. He has a basic
Mhm.
handle. And then by NBA standards, he's an average athlete. He's not the most explosive or anything. But again, Josh Giddey isn't either. So I think the Josh Giddey comparison is very, very accurate. One more weakness, he doesn't have the most creativity to create for himself off the dribble.
Mhm.
Like creating for others, he's got that, but for himself, he's not really the greatest,
Yeah.
shot creator. And then my reason for the Pelicans taking him is, I mean, the only position where I'm really like they could improve at, they got Valanciunas at the 5, Zion at the 4, assuming he's healthy next year. Their backup for 5, if Zion's healthy, would be, what's the light skin's name with the curly hair? I forget his name. Jackson Hayes.
Jackson Hayes.
Then at the 3, they have Brandon Ingram and Herbert Jones, who was just all rookie.
I'll turn my light on. Give me a second.
Go ahead. At the 2, they have CJ McCollum. Who else is at the 2 for them? I'm trying to think. They have someone else at the 2. I don't even remember who it is. Oh, Devontae Graham, I guess, could be a 1 or a 2. And then at the 1, they have Jose. And Jose is their starting point guard technically. I think that's the only position where they could look to improve. Even though Jose is
Yeah.
not awful, I think Dyson just has better potential.
Dyson's just better.
They can have Dyson start as a rookie, or they can have Jose start and then have Dyson come off the bench. Either way, they're good. And then just imagine Dyson Daniels, the passer, with the lob threat of Zion Williamson. That'd be so cool for him. And if the Pelicans do get Dyson Daniels, I will be watching so many of their games. I'm so big on this guy. I really like him. He's number 7 on my board. I don't know where you have him, but he's number 7 on mine.
I've met 12.
That's understandable. I mean, like, there's some guys who I could see being over him. I just really like his size, and that I like Josh Giddey. And Josh Giddey's on my team. So a guy who plays like Josh Giddey, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm cool with him.
Yeah, he's that guy.
Number 9 is you with San Antonio, though.
Cool. Okay. What's their lineup looking like? Hold on.
I could scroll down to the depth chart. The depth chart on here is kind of messed up a little bit. It's kind of weird. But point guard, DeJounte, they got Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Zach Collins, Jakob Podol. Yeah. I mean, they could really improve anywhere. Other than like point guard, pretty much.
Jalen Duren,
Ooh.
center out of Memphis.
Not mad at it. Not mad at it at all.
Yeah. So pretty much he's good at rebounds, blocks, assists. His wingspan is great. He gets steals and he's great against the pick and roll. He's a lob threat and is a post defender.
You're good.
His weaknesses are his motivation. He has no back to basket game and he relies on rim running too much and lobs. Like he can't really create for himself, I guess.
Definitely.
And he's like a short range shooter. Like short.
Like the mid
2
range.
feet.
He's shown potential as like a little bit of a mid range, like post fade type dude, but nothing like 3. I don't think he has 3-point potential anytime soon. Maybe in the future, but no time soon.
He has little to minimal touch, as you mentioned. And for his player comp, I have Andre Drummond because big boards, score a little bit, dunk,
Yeah, I think his floor is Andre Drummond. I think his ceiling is Dwight Howard. Like
go ahead.
He's like the NBA. He has such an NBA level body as is. He is so athletic. Honestly, out of all of the people I watch, he probably has some of the funnest tape, just highlights and things like that. He's so fun to watch. The vertical is there. He has great hands. He's explosive. As you said, he's a lob threat. He sees the court really well as a big. He can make good passes out of post, things like that. He's a switch defender. He's not Bam Adebayo, but he's capable of guarding some guards sometimes. He doesn't bite on much. Keeps his stance, things like that. He runs the court well for his size. He has some potential shooting upside. He's an active rebounder, offense and defense. And I think he's the youngest prospect in the draft. I'm not too sure.
I'm not sure about that.
He's one of. I know he's for sure one of. He's like 18, a little older than 18. but he has he's a great rim protector. He plays vertical, which is very underrated because you can be a great rim protector and not play vertical, and that gives you a
Yeah.
lot of fouls. So I think he'll be able to stay on the court. Some cons, he can be eager to jump at times. He gets a little block happy. He can struggle as a post scorer, as you said. He's one dimensional on offense. He's a lob threat and a created shot scorer.
That's it. Just lob threat.
Yeah, he can be a little clumsy on offense. He's prone to like charges, some poor passes at times, and he can fumble the basketball while dribbling,
Mhm.
which can be coached. He's a capable perimeter defender, but he can be a bit heavy footed. He can struggle to finish through length with his left or on non-backboard layups, anything like that. He's not a great post defender. He's a sub 63% free throw shooter, and then he struggles to put the ball on the floor, and he doesn't seem comfortable dribbling the ball. But I like the pick. I mean, Jalen Duren was the first player I scouted, and I really liked him. He
Yeah.
fluctuated the most out of anyone on my board. I think I had him at 6 at one point. At one point, I had him at 10, and then I think he finished out at I had him at 11. I think I would move him up a little bit, but I'm fine with him going at 9. I'm not
I
mad at
have
it
him
at
at
all.
I have him at 10.
Not mad at it at all. Washington. What do I want to do for Washington? I mean, their biggest position of okay, here's the thing with Washington. I was thinking about this before this episode. This was the team that I was thinking about the most. Personally, this really depends on what they do with Bradley Beal
Yeah.
because he's due for a max. I don't know if they're going to pay him the max. Personally, I wouldn't pay Bradley Beal a super max, but if they do, they want to draft someone who can just come in and impact the game now. If not, they want to draft for someone who can like have actual upside. But I mean, considering they traded for Porzingis, it seems as if they're shifting towards wanting to win now.
Yeah.
So with that being the case, I think my pick is going to be Ochai Agbaji. I don't know how to say that, but I think that's how you say him. He's out of Kansas. He's a small forward. I really like him. 3-and-D. If you like 3-and-D guys, this is your guy.
Mhm.
Very, very solid 3-and-D defender. He's older. So again, this is assuming Bradley Beal is staying and they're trying to win now. But
Yeah.
he is one of the older prospects in the draft. He's a senior. I think he's 22 as a rookie. So that's a bit of a little downside. He doesn't have the most time to grow. He can struggle to score at the rim sometimes in half court. In transition, he's fine. But in half court sets, he can struggle to score at the rim. He can struggle to create a shot off the dribble for himself a little bit, and his handle could be a little loose. But other than that, he's a smart defender on and off the ball. He's able to guard multiple positions, capable passer, can make the right pass without hesitation. Very good three-point shooter, has a quick release, and he's constantly moving off the ball. He's shown consistent growth every year in college. He buys in on defense. Like he likes to play defense. Then he's capable of handling the ball, attacking
Mhm.
closeouts, things like that, bringing it up. But that's my pick. I don't know
Okay.
where you are on him. Oh, his player comp for me was Desmond Bane.
Where is he in my? I just saw him. Where'd he go?
Um,
Oh, yeah, I got him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a 6'10" wingspan. Did you know that?
yeah, he has some
Okay.
long arms.
Yeah, he is strictly 3-and-D though. And as you mentioned, older and 22. But for his player comp, I have Mikal Bridges because of the 3-and-D and the wingspan. But his 3-point, he's a 3-point shooter, as you've mentioned, and he can make the great read every now and then.
He's not going to
Yeah.
run your offense, but he's going to
Yeah.
make the right pass.
He also knows how to get to the line. He's a great transition guy, and he also has
Underrated
a high
vertical.
motor.
Yeah, underrated vertical too. He's got some bunnies a little bit. He's not Shaden Sharp as far as his vertical goes, but
Oh God.
he's got a jumper.
Yeah.
We got the Knicks at 11.
Okay. So I can go multiple ways with this.
Yeah, you really can.
They have guards in RJ and Cam Reddish, right? They have Cam. Yeah.
Yeah.
so-
I'll show you the little depth chart. I don't know if you can see it on my screen, but on the bottom here's their guys. Kimba's probably not going to be there next year.
Yeah.
D Rose and Emmanuel should be there. RJ, of course, Evan will be there. Cam should be there. It says right here, do they have any unrestricted free agents? I want to know. Nope. Everyone is under contract or either the team has an option on them.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah.
Tari Eason,
Mm,
LSU.
I'm not mad at it. I like Tari Eason a lot. I
Bro
like
is
him a
good
lot.
at getting steals, blocks. He has good footwork on drives. He's a dunker. He gets rebounds. He's a good 3-point shooter, 36% from the 3-point line. Free throws, 80%, and rebounds. And his weakness is just his consistency.
Mhm,
He relies too much on his speed, his shot mechanics, and he needs to develop his half court game.
mhm.
Like he's a good transition guy, but in the half court set, he's pretty much off ball. And he relies on his teammates too much, which I mentioned earlier, half court sets and stuff. And his player comp, I have Cam Reddish.
For Tari,
And yeah, for Tari. Because like I don't know, I just see it, I guess. Like I can't really explain it. I guess it's like the size and the defense.
yeah.
Decent shooter.
For me, I think his player comp. Shoot, I think he's like Obi Toppin with more potential. Like I just think he's such a good fit. He's super strong. He's one of the strongest in the class.
Oh, yeah.
Super strong. And at the rim, he's got that. He can finish like no other. He's got
Mhm.
great touch at the rim, and he's very athletic. He has finesse around the rim too. Like finishing is his forte. At the rim, he's
Mhm.
there. His shooting has improved every year. I don't know where he went to college his freshman year, but he did not play particularly well. He fouled out of a few games, and then I think it was Florida State. Then he transfers over to LSU, and he's great. Improves as a shooter. He improves everywhere pretty much. He has a high motor on both sides of the court. He's always giving effort. He's improved from freshman to sophomore. Shooting potential. Handles the ball well for his size, and then he's just really athletic, which I like. Where did you have him on your board? I'm really interested to know.
I have him at 12.
I have him at 12 as well. Yeah, I have him at 12. Some weaknesses of him. He's very foul prone.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he's a raw defender, like as far as a prospect,
Mhm.
but he gives effort, but he gives too much effort a little bit.
Yeah.
He's turnover prone due to some tunnel vision issues, and he has some bad shot selection issues, which I think a lot of young number one options in college have because of the number one option in college, and they have to take some bad shots. He has a tendency to over dribble a bit. He's a little dominant using his right, and he's not the best using his left. He's not awful. Like he can use his left hand, but he's not great at it. And his jump shot mechanics need a little bit of work. But I like the pick. Yeah. Do I have a player comp for him? Oh yeah, I already said Obi Toppin with more
Yeah.
potential. Or I'm trying to think of someone. I can't remember their name, but Derek Jones Jr. He's the guy who was on the Heat, right?
Think so.
Derek
Yeah.
Jones Jr. is in the NBA, right? I'm not thinking of an NBA or an NFL player, right?
He was a
Could be.
basketball player.
Yeah,
He
Der-
was
Derrick Jones
on
Jr.
the
He's still in the league.
Bulls.
I was
He
just
was on
trying
the
to think
Bulls.
of some people. Yeah, Derek Jones Jr. is who I think he could be at his floor. Just a nice guy who can dunk the ball and shoot the ball a little bit. But I think he has better potential than that. Thunder's second pick in the draft, number 12. This is the first team to have a second pick, I think. So
Mhm.
Jabari was the second pick. Now with the ninth pick, you know, if Jalen Duren was here, I would have taken him
Mhm.
for sure. But I think for this pick, the
Shaden?
Thunder go pure upside and they go Shaden Sharp. I don't think there's a guy with as much upside as Shaden Sharp.
Yeah.
Like the big thing that hurts me from making him go as high as he is on my board is just one, he's doesn't fit with all that many teams
Mhm.
to me that are top. Like the Magic wouldn't take him. They have too many guards. And then I don't think who's second. Well, the second is the Thunder, but I don't think they would take him at second. He's definitely not getting taken top 3 because the top 3
Yeah.
is picked. I think the first pick he can get taken is 4, but then I think Jaden Ivey is a better guard prospect. And then I thought at 5 you were going to go Shaden Sharp, but instead you
Mm-mm.
went with
I went with
AJ Griffin.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Shaden Sharp is really solid. He's a good finisher in transition, a solid lob threat, good off-ball cutter, threat in the passing lanes, and as a rim protector. And he's shown improvement as time passes. Like he's not just staying the same from high school to AAU to U19, things like that.
Mhm.
I mean, he went from unranked to the number one ranked prospect in the class
That's crazy.
in 1 year. He's
That's
a
wild.
really young prospect. He's improving as a shooter. He finishes through contact without fear, and he's an extremely explosive athlete. I've heard from people that he has the highest vertical of all time in NBA
Yeah,
terms.
I've heard he has
49,
a 49. Yeah.
49 potentially. Um, I mean, hey, if you got a 49-inch vertical, that's elite. Michael Jordan
Yeah.
had a 48-inch vertical, and they call him Jump Man, bro. He's Air Jordan, bro, and this guy can jump higher than him. Like, so I don't know if that's official. We'll see it at the combine. I don't know when the combine is, but some weaknesses I had for him. The main one that shies me away from him is he never played in college. That was something
Mhm.
that scared me a bit because I do want to see how you play against like college competition. But it's not like he just wasn't playing for a year. He was playing in like high schoolish competitions. Like AAU, just like things in the country, high
Yeah.
competitions in the country. His handle could use some more creativity. He's not great as a scorer in the half court. And then his tape, he doesn't have a lot of tape, and his tape is really spaced out. Like we have some high school tape, then we'll have some AAU tape from like months later, then we'll have a little bit from in between. I wish we had a little more consistent tape, and I think that hurts him a little bit too. Because if we had more tape, I would be comfortable taking him top 5.
Yeah.
But there's just not enough tape, and then his motor on defense can be a little bit inconsistent. Um,
For me, I have him. He doesn't have the best speed, like
mhm,
speed or handles for weaknesses,
mhm,
and he can be a bit careless for contested shots. Like he'll just settle for them.
mhm.
But we
Oh
haven't
no,
seen
for
much
sure.
of him,
Yeah.
so we can't really say anything yet. But we're unclear if he has touch behind the arc,
Mhm,
and it's pretty much those little things that I guess we need to see more of.
mhm,
And for my notes about him, he has a 7 foot wingspan. He has Jalen Green athleticism. It's probably more if that 49-inch vertical is real.
mhm,
And he has like Kelly Oubre Jr. transition offense.
mhm. Do you have a player comparison for him? Because I do.
I do not.
I said he has shades of Brandon Roy, like healthy Brandon Roy.
Mhm.
I really do like him. Um, I mean, the upside is there, and I think the reason I took him for the Thunder is just because he fell that low. Because he's
Yeah.
6 on my board just because of the potential
I'm
he
not,
has.
he's 5 for me. I'm just not too sold on him personally.
Right, he's high on my board for sure.
Yeah.
Like if you would have taken him with Detroit, I wouldn't have been mad at it because he's there
Mhm.
on my board. I just think there's prospects who you have more tape of, who you can be a little more confident in. Um,
Mhm.
the Thunder's roster can't is a little guard heavy because we have Shea, Josh,
Okay.
Theo, Trey Man, and Ty Jerome. I mean, like Ty Jerome ain't really on a roster like that. He's there for depth, but he's not getting rotational minutes unless we're
He's a
tanking.
reserve.
Right. Theo, I don't really believe in all that much anymore. So the 3 guards that I'm like really, really big on are Shea, Josh, and Trey. And Shaden is like just the potential is there. I mean,
Mhm.
if I really wanted to go by position and get like a center, I could have reached on like Mark Williams. But just to have a top 5 prospect even available at 12, you got to take
You
your shot
can't.
at it.
Yeah, you can't pass up on that.
Because even if Shaden ends up being better than like Josh at some point, just move Josh to the 3.
Mhm.
Josh is tall enough to play the 3. I mean, like he's not the strongest, but you got to find a way to make it work. You got to find a way to get your best players on the court. So that's my reasoning for taking Shaden Sharp at 12.
Yeah.
You're at 13 with Charlotte. They have like near back to
Charlotte.
backs. Yeah, they
Okay.
have back to backs. You take 13 for them, and then you take 15 for them.
Okay. So, dang. Okay. I mean, I guess Jeremy Sochin.
Jeremy Sohan,
Sohan.
Sohan. I actually wrote.
Sohan.
He was the
So
one guy
yeah.
who I wrote his like pronunciation. Sohan
Sohan. Okay.
out of Baylor.
Yeah, out of Baylor. 6'9", forward slash center. He's a defensive beast. He has that lateral quickness. He has great draft age, steals. He knows how to get boards and draw fouls. He gets to the line, and he pretty much generates points on fast breaks, whether it's assist or points himself.
Mhm.
So that transition, LaMelo Ball,
Charlotte
Miles,
run the
yeah,
court type thing.
Charlotte, yeah, that
For
whole
sure.
thing, he can be a great part of it.
I
And
definitely
his
get that.
weakness is lack of shooting, free throw percentage, although he does get to the line. So
Yeah, no, he
yeah,
gets the line. That's one of his strengths for me.
yeah,
He gets there, he just doesn't make
he
them.
just doesn't. He isn't a vertical stopper though, if that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Mhm.
But for like his player comp, I got like a Draymond Green type thing. He's a
That's
great defender
exactly
in
what I
the
put.
perimeter, and he can pass the ball.
I think I put Draymond Green 0.5. Like I don't think he's gonna be Draymond Green, but I think he has shades of Draymond Green.
Yeah,
I mean, like when you give someone a player comparison, you're typically thinking of them like in their prime. I
yeah,
think Jeremy Shohan is not Draymond Green in his prime. I think he's more Draymond Green now,
mhm.
where he's not really shooting the ball all that much, things like that.
He's just passing it, being a
Right.
distributor.
Some weaknesses he has. He's too aggressive on defense, and that's the thing that scares me. I like him as a prospect, but like
Yeah,
I just think he can struggle to stay on the court if he keeps getting fouls, and he's not a floor spacer. Like
yeah,
if you can't shoot the ball and then you're in foul trouble, it's hard for coaches to keep you on the court. Uh, he can play with a little too much energy and out of control on defense, which again leads to the fouls. It's just like a foul thing.
yeah,
And then, like you said, he doesn't know how to play vertical when he's trying to contest
yeah.
things like that. But I like him. Where did you have him on
I
your board?
really, I have him at 9.
I have him 13. But I like him. Like he's like, if the numbers I have them out isn't really all that far, because I was just
Yeah,
talking about how much I love Tari Eason. He's right below Tari Eason for me. I have Tari Eason 12 and then Jeremy Shohan 13. And there was a point on my board where Jeremy Shohan was Sohan. I'm absolutely butchering this man's name. Sohan was higher than Tari Eason for a little bit on my board. I just switched it last minute. Um, yeah, but I like him. He's comfortable handling the ball. He can get the
yeah,
board and then just take it up the court. And he's a very advanced passer for his age. Like he's a very good passer.
for sure.
He easily is probably the best defender in the class to me. Like all around defender. He might not be the rim protector of Chet or the perimeter defender of who's a good perimeter? Benedict Mathurin, but he's 75% of both of them, 80%
Yeah,
of both of them. Strong things like that. I like him as a I think he's more of like a role player. That's his potential. I don't think he's going to be an all-star ever. I just think he's going to be a nice little role player.
yeah.
But I'm at 14 with Cleveland, and
Cleveland.
this played out perfectly that Johnny Davis fell this far down because they need a shooting guard really bad.
Yeah,
But I'm going to go with Johnny Davis. Johnny Davis is really polarizing to me because he is top 10 on my board, but I'm just not too in love with the way he plays. I mean, he's very good in the mid-range, a great mid-range shooter.
yeah.
He's a variety of moves he can use to get to his mid-range shot. He's solid from 3. He's hesitant to take the threes, but he's solid at 3. He can make them. He has good touch around the rim, and he's good at getting to the line. He fights hard to stay in plays on defense. He fights through screens. He has good anticipation on passes, which leads to steals. He recovers well when beat on defense. He's great in the pick and roll. I mean, everything I said, he's just solid. He's really, really solid. I think he can be a little predictable going into his 3-point jump shot. Like he has a trend to like he doesn't dribble like he normally does. When he's getting ready to go into his jump shot, he does a different dribble, which is a little predictable. As a finisher, he's pretty one-dimensional. He's not going to do anything crazy from there. Basic finisher. And his shot diet is going to have to change. He's not going to be able to be a mid-range scorer in the NBA. He's going to have to be less present.
Yeah, go ahead.
He's going to have to be less hesitant to take the threes because his coaches aren't going to want to take pull up mid ranges all game. But like,
so I pretty much have him at 11 in my draft or my big board, and he has great footwork. But when he gets to his spots, those are his spots.
Right.
If teams figure those spots out, that's trouble. And one of his weaknesses is top of the key threes, which is a big weakness because that's not his spot. They don't have to guard him if he's on top of the key. He's just gonna miss,
Right.
And his speed isn't the greatest. His playmaking also isn't the greatest.
But
his efficiency,
his playmaking could definitely improve.
Yeah, that his efficiency can also get picked up on. It's coachable.
I think college efficiency is just bad for everyone.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at all of my prospects, and there's very few guys where I'm like, oh, they have good efficiency. It's just because the spacing in college is so much worse than like the NBA. Because in the NBA, at least typically 4 of the 5 guys that you have on the court are going to be able to be a consistent threat on the 3-point line. In
Mhm.
college, sometimes you got 2 guys on the court who can shoot. They're literally
Mhm.
running a 2K rec lineup where you get a paint beast, a glass finisher, a two-way finisher, and then you have 2 play shots, and you're just like, hey, what are we gonna
Go
do
crazy.
here? Yeah. But you're back
But
with Charlotte again. I mean,
nah,
oh
I'm still talking about Johnny.
I didn't even say his player comparison. I have KCP or Josh Hart.
I got Tyler Hero on offense, like rookie Tyler Hero, not the now one, because
Yeah.
Jalen Suggs on defense, because I think he has overlooked defense.
Yeah.
I think he can be a good defender.
I think it's his size that's just people don't really love about him.
Mhm.
Because it's getting to be a tall players
A
league.
tall league, yeah.
And he's not the tallest, and he's also not the best
Mhm.
athlete. He's not the fastest, so he's gonna be, and he's a guard. Like, he's not guarding
Yeah.
threes. And he's not the fastest to keep up with said guard, so that's the only
Mhm.
issue. But as far as hustle and effort, he tries.
Yeah.
Like, his issue is gonna be he's a lazy defender. His issue might just be he's not built to be a great defender in the NBA, which isn't a bad
Yeah.
thing. It's a lot worse if you can be a good defender and you just choose not to be.
I think a negative though, he has more turnovers than assists.
Yeah.
But it's coachable.
Part of that is
Also, for
also
his-
because at
go ahead.
Wisconsin, he was made the number 1 scorer. When he's in the NBA, he's a second or third option to me.
Yeah. First ceiling, I have D-Book.
Devin Booker type ceiling. I think that's
Yeah.
that's nice. I don't know if now would be the best time to get a Devin Booker comparison.
Oh, oh God.
If there was any time to get a Devin Booker comparison, now is probably the worst time. But I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Definitely
Mhm.
mid-range shooter.
Like that mid-range shooter, just pull up
Uh,
middies, those type of
yeah.
shots.
I like him. Now that I reread his like scouting report, I like him a lot more. Like, because there's so many guys I really like even later in the draft that he kind of
Mhm.
got a little overlooked
Yeah.
now. But yeah, I like that pick because it was my pick. Of course I'm gonna like it, but it's your pick.
Yeah. With my previous pick, did I pick Tari?
You took
No, I
Sohan
took-
for the
yeah, I took
Hornets, and now
Sohan.
you're back with the Hornets.
Yeah. Okay. Shoot. Probably gonna have to go with Ty Washington.
Mm,
Did I say that right?
yeah.
I feel like I didn't say that right. All right. Yeah, Ty. So he pretty much excels in scoring the ball. He has great shot mechanics. He finds himself rebounds. He has good body strength, a great step back. He limits his turnovers, and he's efficient, which wins games.
Fair.
Winning games is a part of something that he does, and he wants it. He wants to win. But his downside is he lacks his first step, like a quick first step.
Mhm.
He will struggle against good defensive guards, and he turned 20 as a freshman in November.
Yeah, that's not really, great.
Not ideal.
He
For a
turned
player
20 as a
comp,
freshman.
As
in
a
November.
freshman.
In November,
Yeah,
though?
in November.
So he's going to turn 21 at like the start of the NBA.
At the start of the NBA season, yeah.
Yeah, that's
For
not
player
great.
comp, I do not have one. Because
I don't have
it's
one
like,
either.
I couldn't really
I
find
couldn't think one.
Yeah.
For some weaknesses for him, not really a top athlete. He doesn't get to the line too much. His handle can lack some creativity. Not very comfortable shooting threes too much. His defensive effort can be inconsistent. And when he's off ball, he can play without urgency. But
Yeah.
his strengths, he has a really good floater. Good touch around the rim. Very tough, stronger than you would expect someone of his size to be. Good wingspan for a guard. A good finisher when he can get to the rim. He's very comfortable in the mid-range, comfortable off the ball, better off the ball on offense. He plays without urgency off the ball on defense, just to clarify. Better spacing will benefit him. And, the Hornets have some pretty solid spacing. And a good passer in the pick. He's a good passer in the pick and roll, and he's a neutral defender. Not a great defender, not a terrible defender, but neutral. I like the pick. I think if they go tie, because their guard situation is a little weird at the moment because it's LaMelo. They drafted James Booknight. Is that his first name?
James Booknight, I think, yeah.
James Booknight last year, and then they have Terry Rozier. I would assume that if they were to go Ty wouldn't play too much this year. He'd play like backup point guard minutes. With
I don't really know what else they would take though.
I mean, I guess they would go. They could go center, but Sohan can play the 5.
Yeah.
hypothetically.
I mean,
Uh,
another person that I do have them taking though, it's possible. Osame Dieng.
Oshman Ding.
Oh, I don't
I
know.
don't know how to say it. It's hard. Yeah.
I don't know, bro. But yeah, we'll talk about him later if you pick him or if I pick him
Oh,
for
I don't
another
plan on
team.
taking him right now, but yeah, he's
Okay.
on the board. He's definitely on the board.
Yeah.
um, yeah, there's a couple guys I could have seen you take at the Hornets spot, but I'm not mad at Ty Ty really. I just think
Mhm.
if they take Ty Ty, he's not a now pick. He's definitely like a
Yeah.
2 years down the line pick. He's gonna be a nice
Hmm.
little well player. Atlanta. When I look at Atlanta, I just want someone who can play defense in the backcourt. Like that's literally it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Malachi Branham out of OSU, or should I say the Ohio State University. Malachi is actually 18 on my board. Oh, got picked 16, so it's pretty accurate to my board. Let me pick up his thing. Malachi, he's an efficient 3-point scorer. Has an explosive first step, good touch around the rim, good strength, comfortable finishing through contact, and he's a solid defender. He has poor shot selection at times, and he's an average shot creator. That's all I put for him. He shoots the ball and he plays pretty solid of defense. Um, he definitely isn't the best prospect on the board. I just think he's solid for what the Hawks want. The Hawks aren't looking for someone who can develop into some elite two guy to Trae Young. They're more so looking for someone who can come in, even as a bench player, and just
He's more of like a
play solid.
complementary piece.
Yeah, he can come in and play solid. He doesn't. He's
Yeah.
good at passing the ball. And then his two weaknesses: poor shot selection. He's not gonna have the ball in his hands nearly as much in Atlanta.
Mhm.
Trae Young's gonna have the ball. The other guys are gonna have the ball. Bogdanovich, Sean Collins, Clint Capella. He's not gonna have the ball in his hands that much. And then he's an average shot creator. Again, he's not gonna be creating shots for others that much, and he's really not gonna be creating his own shot that much. I mean, those are things, of course, you want to see him improve on. But in a game setting, for those to be your two biggest weaknesses, and you're not even going to see those weaknesses on display for most of the game, you should be straight.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's my pick. I don't have a player comparison for him. I just think he's a really solid little complementary piece. Oh, he was one of the guys who I remember I said earlier there wasn't a lot of guys who have good efficiency in college. He's one of the guys who has good efficiency in college.
Yeah.
50% from the field, 41 from 3, 83 from the free throw line. That's great efficiency.
Do you have a player comp from him?
No player comp. I
I got
think he's
Chris
solid.
Middleton because he has a tough mid range.
At his like ceiling, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, I think he'll pan out to be Chris Middleton? Probably not, but I can see where you're coming from.
He has a good shooting form, but like the downside is it's kind of slow.
Yeah, a little slow for a guard,
Yeah.
but it's not a detriment too much.
Mhm.
Houston, 17.
Okay.
They went
Now I
Banchero
have-
at 3rd, so they're at 17.
Now I have. Where's he at? Where'd he go? I just saw him. Where'd he go? Bro, this happened. The second time happened. Okay. Oshme Dieng.
Hey,
Him.
highest on the board.
Him. I have him 13th. But his draft age is great. He has long limbs. He's a playmaker. He can switch to a pick and roll type role. And he stays calm under pressure. He can create his own shot. He creates shots from a standstill as well, like jabs. He's tough.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is tough. He has blah, blah, blah. Wing threes off the dribble. Like, bro, just transition or not even like you can bring the ball up, step back, three. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
He just drains it for no reason too. And he has great off the dribble shots. He's a good shot contester, but his weaknesses are that his inconsistencies on defense, his athleticism, and his shooting consistency.
Mm-hmm.
But some notes about him is that again, he's tough.
Yeah.
He's a smart player, and he played international, which might get looked down upon because normally international players get looked down on. And for a player comp, I have like a rookie season Brandon Ingram type thing.
That's fair. Is he the first foreign player to get taken? I'm really trying to think. Was he the first foreign player taken? I mean, Dyson Daniels is technically foreign, but I'm trying to think of, yeah, he's the first overseas player taken at 17. I like this pick. I think I have him a little lower just because he's going to take some time to develop. But if there was a team that has time to develop a player, it's the Rockets. They're one of
It's the
the
Rockets.
yeah, they're not one of the best teams in the league. They're not in the
Yeah.
win now mode as much as like other teams are. Like the Thunder are trying. I would imagine the Thunder are not trying to be one of the worst teams in the league this year. They're trying to actually see what they have this year. Sacramento wasn't trying to be one of the worst teams in the league. They're trying to make the playoffs. Who's another team that's in the lottery? Orlando and Houston are like the two teams that are like firmly in their rebuild still.
Yeah.
I put his player comparison as a more athletic Kyle Anderson, or if he reaches his ceiling, I think he could be a Paul George-esque type player. Very good athlete, comfortable handing the ball, capable scorer off the dribble, as you say, capable defender, capable playmaker. He has a lot of potential as a passer. And I feel like a lot of foreign players are very good passers.
Yeah.
I think that might be because of the brand of basketball they play in other countries is a lot more passing-esque. He has positional versatility. I think you can guard. I mean, you can guard some ones, but that's not really where you want him. 2 through 4, I think.
Yeah.
Potential in the pick and roll. Some weaknesses. He just needs to put on some strength. He's another guy who just needs to put on some muscle. And it hurts a lot of aspects of his game because he doesn't have that strength. Hurts him as a finisher specifically. It's hard for him to get to the rim. And because he doesn't get to the rim, he doesn't get to the line. And because he doesn't get to the line or get to the rim, he has to settle for jumpers, which you don't want to see. So hopefully if he can put on some strength, it'll help flesh out his all-around offensive game. But I like that pick. To Houston, that'll definitely give him some time to, develop. Yes. Chicago at 18. I think there's another guy who I really like that he's still available. I'm going EJ Liddell out of Ohio State. My last 2 picks are Ohio State guys.
You big on Ohio guys, huh?
Yeah. The Bulls really only need one type of player, and that's like a 4 who can play some defense and just be a solid little role player for them because they don't really have that. I mean, they have Patrick Williams, who's really solid, but he needs to improve as an offensive player. EJ Liddell, I think, is a little more fleshed out offensively, and he's just a role player. I don't think he has great potential at all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he has bad potential. He could turn into something, but I think he's just a really solid little role player. Good rebounder, good 3-point shooter, good timing on blocks, comfortable as a pick and pop or pick and roll big. He's good at attacking closeouts, and he keeps the ball moving. That's like an ideal stretch 4 in the league. And although he doesn't have the best potential, he reminds me of almost like a little bit smaller of a Jay Crowder. And Jay Crowder is a very valuable player. I think a lot of teams would want Jay Crowder if you're a contending team. If you're a contending team,
go ahead.
If you're a contending team, you want a Jay Crowder-esque 4 who can guard 1 through 4, occasionally switch onto some of the worser end 5s in the league, hit the 3 ball, make the right passes, make very few mistakes, and just keep the energy up. And that's what EJ Liddell does.
For my strengths about him, I got great floor awareness. He's an unselfish player. He has court vision, which is a plus. And he has that shot blocking ability. And he's a solid rebounder, but he's mobile-ish, as you mentioned earlier, guarding 1 through 4, occasionally a 5 every now and then. But he lacks explosiveness. He's not quick or sudden. And he never shot above 50% in his career. But as you mentioned, it's not really, you can't really compare efficiency in college to the NBA.
He was close.
Because,
he was close this year. He's at 49.4. So I'll give him 50. Like, he's pretty much. His weaknesses, for me, he's undersized if he's going to play the center position. He's pretty much a 4 for sure.
That's
and
why
he's
I've
not
listed
really
as a 4.
athletic.
Yeah, I have him listed as like a forward 3-4 type thing. But he has to improvise when he shoots with his left hand. It's kind of like, when we go to the park, like, you force me left, I'm not making it.
There's nothing I can do if you force me left. I'm sorry.
But for his player comp for me, he's not a great athlete. But for player comp, Marcus Morris, because of the defense.
I say Marcus Morris or Jay Crowder, someone of that esque of player who's just solid. It doesn't have like the highest expectations, but it's just really solid. You're at 19 with
the T-Wolves. Okay. Okay. Let's go with.
You can really go anywhere. I wouldn't be mad at you. They're a good team, so.
Yeah. It's pretty tough though because like I don't want to give them the wrong guy.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on what you're going for. If you're going upside, I see a guy. There's a clear guy who I would go with personally. If you're going for someone who's gonna help you win now. I think there's not really a well. I'm looking at my board and seeing if there's any more guys who I'm like, oh yeah, they'll help you win right now. Nah, not really. I mean, there's one, but he is in a position of need.
Where'd this guy go? Where'd he go? Okay. Let's go with. I don't know. Give me a second. Where'd he go? This guy's. My fault for taking a while on this pick.
No, you're good. It's like for the good teams, it's gonna take me a minute because I don't.
Yeah.
They're good, so it's like they could go anywhere, and having the freedom to take whoever without being constricted to a certain position is cool. But it also is like, oh wow, I have a lot of options on where I could do this.
They don't need a point guard.
I mean, other than D'Lo, they could go with like a backup. No, yeah, because if Ant plays the 3, and then Pat Bev plays the 2, and then D'Lo plays the 1, and then Vanderbilt plays the.
Give me Bryce McGowens.
Oh wow,
6'7" guard out of Nebraska.
Let me find him. Here we go.
Actually,
oh, I just picked him. Dang it.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, it's all good. Okay, so he has that shooting touch. He's developing his 3-point shot. He has a great first step. He uses head fakes and hezzies to freeze his defenders. It happens. Like they freeze, and he's a good transition guy. Great rebounder due to bounce and size. He can complement Ant pretty well. I'm confident in saying that too. And pretty much, he lacks strength, which may lead to shots falling short, like physical strength. And he may get tunnel vision at times, which leads to bad shots. And again, lacking strength leads to him taking bad shots, an off-balance shot, something you wouldn't typically take. And he's a bad defender, meaning like he doesn't give any effort on the defensive end. Like it's kind of lackadaisical where he's just standing there. His guy cuts from baseline. Oh no, my guy left. Bucket.
Yeah. I don't really have a super high opinion on Bryce McGowens. He's lower on my board. Where do you have him on your board?
Pretty low.
Yeah, I have him like 29, 28.
Yeah.
But he's effective. He could be a backup 2 or he'll either be a backup 2 or a backup 1, really. But that'll give him a chance to, develop his game, figure it out. But they don't really need to go after a wild, like, hit or miss prospect right now. They could just take a little solid little guy for Minnesota. Okay. San Antonio. Where do I want to go?
My board. I should have taken someone else. Oh, that's so tough.
I'm between 2 guys here. I don't know. I'm between 3 guys here. Wow. They went Duren. Okay, so actually I'm between 2 because they did take Duren at 9 in our mock draft. Where do I want to go with this? So 2. That's very appealing. That is a very appealing pick right there. I'm going Jaden Hardy. I'm sorry. Jaden Hardy is someone I scouted last, like today or yesterday, just because of the fact that he's a very all over the place prospect and everyone has a different opinion on him. But the Spurs really need a little bit of every position. To me, their 2 biggest needs are the 5 and the 2. You got them their 5 with Jalen Duren. I'm gonna get them their potential 2 with Jaden Hardy, who could play next to DeJounte. He's not a great defender by any means. He's solid, but I mean, when you get to play next to DeJounte Murray, that'll probably help you a bit. And then you're playing next to Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson and Jalen Duren. That's a pretty fun team to watch. He's very confident, which is a strength and a weakness at the same time. He's confident, which means he's not gonna like not take open shots, but at the same time, he's going to take some shots that he shouldn't, just because he feels as if he can make them. And of course, I'm sure he can make them. It's just like those aren't good shots on the court. He needs to improve as a passer, work on some efficiency issues. He has a tendency to dribble a little too much. He doesn't try to get to the rim very often. Not that he can't. He can get to the rim whenever he wants, which is great. But he just doesn't try to get to the rim because he would rather like shoot the ball.
Yeah.
But those are his weaknesses. He has some great strengths. He has elite shot creating ability off the dribble for himself. He's a good long range shooter, like not 3-point, like he has like range.
Mhm.
He's comfortable pulling up off the dribble. He can get to the rim effectively when he wants to, as I said before. Then he has a really nice handle.
Mhm.
So if you can have him play a little bit more of an off ball role, have DeJounte run the offense more, and then have Jaden Hardy play a little off ball, things like that. So yeah, I just think it's a really solid pick. High upside. I think he would probably be an immediate starter over there just because their two situation really isn't much. But yeah, that's my pick. You got Denver
Okay.
though.
This is tough because we need
Richard
a forward,
Jefferson?
bro.
It says Richard Jefferson is on the roster. I know y'all aren't still playing Richard Jefferson. I mean,
We
I would
don't have
hope
him.
I would,
We don't have him.
he's doing commentary. How is he on the Nuggets?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
who knows?
So, okay. Okay. Blake Wesley out of Notre Dame.
Okay, I like him. What's your reasoning behind it?
He's an explosive finisher. He converts on fast break dunks and he can get past people. ISO
Mhm.
player, complement Jokic. He just needs to get more mobile off ball to help Jokic, I guess. Because
Mhm.
Jokic is such a great passer that just, that helps.
Mhm.
And if he does want to be in the ISO though, he can get past this guy easily. He's
Mhm.
not phased by any pressure. He has great shooting form. And I think that'll transfer to the NBA easily because its form is just clean.
Mhm.
And he needs to move off ball, as I mentioned.
Mhm.
But his free throw percentage, it isn't good. It's 65%, but
His
his
3-point
form is
percentage
good.
as well. His form is there. It's just he needs to, I guess, work on his touch or something.
Yeah.
But his form doesn't look bad or anything.
hmm His weight
Uh,
also might be an issue. It can be
yeah,
built up through training though.
he is a smaller frame.
And he has a 7-foot wingspan.
Hmm.
And I'm pretty big on him. Bro's an
Yeah,
athlete and a scorer. Nuggets could
yeah,
use him.
yeah. Even if he doesn't end up being some all-star or anything, just having another guy off the bench who can, like do something.
hmm
Um, because the biggest thing for y'all was just depth in that
Yeah.
Warrior series. They were way more deep than you
Oh
guys were.
yeah, for sure.
So you guys really just want to get someone who could be, a solid player, solid
hmm
role player. Uh, Honestly, I would have taken if this was just my own draft and it played out a certain way. I would have had Tari Eason go to the Bulls. I
hmm
don't personally don't think he's gonna fall that far, and I don't think I would have let him fall that far.
Yeah.
But if he was on the board at the Bulls spot, I would have had the Bulls take him, and then you guys take EJ Liddell because I think he would have been a solid little
mhm,
role player for you guys who can space the floor.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm cool with Blake Wesley. He's solid. He's 25 on my board, and we're at 22, so it's slightly higher than expected. Um, okay, I'm at Memphis with 22. I don't know what I want to do here because Memphis is very, very good as is. I'm trying to look at anyone they have as a free agent. Okay, so Tyus Jones is a free agent. Kyle Anderson is a free agent. And then, well, he doesn't matter. He doesn't play. So Tyus Jones, backup point guard. Kyle Anderson, backup power forward. So you really just want to go for someone who can, do something to,
hmm
make up for that. And although
Smart.
I'm not too high on him, I'm gonna go with Kennedy Chandler just because I think he can be a solid backup point guard.
hmm
Um, I'm not high on him as a star player or anything. I just think he can be
Yeah.
solid off the bench. I'll pull up
Okay.
my thing. Who did I just pick? Kennedy Chandler. Kennedy Chandler.
Kennedy Chandler out of Tennessee, 6-foot
Um,
guard.
my player comparison for him is Mario Chalmers. Mario Chalmers wasn't anything special. He was a solid starting point guard for the Heat for a couple of years, but he wasn't anything
hmm
special. I think he's solid off the ball. He's a decent playmaker. He has a really quick first step, and he's able to pick up some steals. My biggest thing for him is he's undersized for today's
hmm
NBA. That was the thing that turned me off to him the most. Um, but if you're a backup, it don't really matter how undersized you are too much.
The
Because
only thing that, go ahead.
I think he needs to improve as a free throw shooter a bit.
Yeah.
And his shooting is streaky. But I just think he's overall a pretty solid player, and he could be a nice
Okay.
little backup point guard for them.
So I think you've mentioned this, but he's good. But his weaknesses are his size, period. He's undersized. He has a small frame, which makes him a defensive liability. And he only shot 60% from the free throw line. It's not ideal at all for a point guard. And it took him a while to adjust to the college scene. That scares me on him transitioning to the NBA to see how slow that transition might be because the game speed is much faster.
Yeah, definitely. He has room to grow for sure. And I think Memphis is a good place to grow. I mean, they always do such a good job at developing talent. Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bain, Ja, of course. Even Zaire Williams was really good for them last year, and he struggled a lot in college. So I think they can develop him to get him to where he needs to be. But yeah, I just think he's a solid little backup point guard for them. And then he might not even play. He might end up going to their G League team because they have so much money in free agency that they could just bring in whoever they want. But if they're making this pick, then I would have them go Kennedy Chandler, I think. Brooklyn, though. That's all you.
Brooklyn. Okay. Okay. I think they need defense. Kendall Brown, forward, 6'8", Baylor.
I like that pick.
He's a great transition bucket, an elite athlete. He's explosive. He punishes smaller defenders. He's a good defensive player, and he's unselfish. Hence, I mean, it's not even like he's going to get the ball. Yeah. Let's be real.
He's on the Nets. He's not getting the rock.
Yeah. He lacks good shooting form. He's not going to be taking shots. He doesn't have a fluid shot, obviously. He doesn't have good form. He's 68% from the free throw line, not a good shooter, limited in the half-court set. He's not a great rebounder, but he has a solid 6'11" wingspan for being 6'8". And that defense can obviously transition to their team, help the Nets out, give Kyrie and KD some time to breathe. Yeah.
The only things that I don't really love about him is he's a little reluctant to take the threes when he gets them. If he's just if he has a bit more of a quick trigger, not trigger happy, but a quick trigger, that would be a little bright spot. He needs to improve as a 3-point shooter. He's solid as is, but if we could see him go from solid to being good, like, because solid isn't bad. It's just like you're gonna make some, you're gonna miss some. It depends on the game. But if he can get to a good 3-point shooter where teams have to worry about his 3-point shooting and he spaces out the floor, that would help a lot. I think he's going to get a lot of good looks, though, with the Nets, depending on how many minutes they play him. Because, I mean, when you have Kyrie, KD on the court, they're going to focus on those guys, and the other guys are going to get the looks. It's just up to them to make the pass. But I'm not mad at that pick at all. I honestly, after I made my pick for Kennedy Chandler, I was like, dang, I should have went with Kendall Brown for the Grizzlies. But
yeah,
I'm cool with this pick, too. Yeah.
You got the Bucks.
Oh yeah, the Milwaukee Bucks. They're a good team that could go so many different ways. Let's look at their depth chart. Drew Holiday, George Hill is the two guards. Giannis is not a shooting guard.
Giannis is not a 2.
Giannis is not a 2, bro. Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton. Giannis is the 4 with these guys, and then we got Chris Middleton. I think I'm going to have them go with a bit of a player who I'm not too fond of, but I just don't think he's going to have to do too much on this team to where it's going to be an issue. I'm going to go with Patrick Baldwin Jr. While I know he was really, 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 really bad in college.
Guys, I think he was bad in college.
I think he was pretty bad in college. The potential he has as a 3-point shooter who can space the floor, along with his size.
You should have taken Christian Braun.
I'm not too high on him. I just think he's solid at everything. I think Patrick Baldwin has higher potential. I think the Bucks will go with the potential guy. But I see where he also
went to Milwaukee. So
yeah, that was another aspect as to why I picked him. He would just stay home. He handles the ball well for his size. Solid passer, solid rebounder, solid 3-point shooter. He's a streaky shooter. If we can get some more consistency, I would like to see that. His shot selection can be really, really bad. But when you're on the Bucks and you're like on the bench, that's not going to really matter. His defensive effort can be inconsistent, and he lacks explosiveness or general foot speed. but
Mhm.
just the upside he has as a 6'10" guy who can shoot the ball and handle the ball and pass the ball.
He's not much of a creator, like shooter or playmaker.
Mhm.
But when you have Giannis on your team, he's gonna have so much gravity as is. He can
Right.
just kick it out to you. Then that's it.
He's gonna get some looks. I think he'll
Yeah.
be solid here. Plus, Milwaukee University to the Milwaukee Bucks. His player comparison for me, Michael Porter Jr. 0.5.
Poor
Like,
man's Michael Porter Jr.
yeah, like he's just like he's good, and he has
Yeah.
of course, the frame and the 3-point shooting,
Mhm.
not nearly on the level of Michael Porter Jr., but
That's why
to
he's
an
a
extent,
that's why he's a poor man's Porter Jr.
yeah. But the the tools are there for him to be that kind of player. I don't think
Yeah.
he's gonna end up being that player. I think he'll most likely just end up being a solid floor spacer. Um, because
He'll
I
be
don't,
like a Kelly Olynyk eventually, I guess.
yeah, more. I would say not Kelly Olynyk, but like a worser Maxi Kleber,
I
Kleba.
can see that. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just think he's solid, and then Milwaukee has the time to develop him to be
Mhm.
what they want him to be, I guess. And there's some guys he could learn from there. Chris Middleton, Drew
Mhm.
Holiday, Giannis, those guys. But it's your pick.
Okay. Okay. We got 6'7". I just talked about this guy. Actually, you know,
They went Jalen and Jaden with their first two picks. Are they going to go with
who's their center?
the center is now going to be Jalen Duran because you drafted
Jalen
him,
Duren.
and
Oh yeah,
then
that's true.
they have Jakopoto, and then their shooting
Okay.
guard is Hardy. Now you could just go upside really if you want to.
Christian Braun,
Oh,
sharpshooter.
white shooting guard. Let's go.
Yep. Well, I'm probably gonna have him at like a forward or something.
Mhm,
But he's 6'7". He has size. He can
mhm,
be a sharpshooter, off the catch and shoot. He's a great shooter. He can attack the basket every now and then. He's not a bad defender. That'll complement their whole team.
mhm.
He deflects passes. He's a good rebounder, but he's not a high level distributor. But you don't really need that when you have DeJounte on your team.
Yeah.
And when he has a mismatch on him, like a big, that's bad. Like you do not
Mhm,
want a big on him. This guy is gonna get killed. He has slower development, I guess.
mhm,
But in order for him to be like this better player, he has to hit that elite level floor spacer, or
mhm,
at least he'll need to polish everything else to
mhm.
be good.
Because he's
It's
an
really one or
average
the other.
athlete. He's an
Yeah,
average athlete for NBA standards.
but he
Um,
can be a good bench piece,
mhm.
and he might not be an immediate starter depending on what team. But on the Kings, it's gonna
The
be a fight for it.
Spurs. The
Oh, the
Spurs.
Spurs. Yeah,
Yeah.
Spurs. My fault. It'll be a fight for it. But what he can do is limited for now
Mhm.
until he develops it, and his free throw percentage is good.
Yeah, he's just solid. I think he's solid. Now is like the time I would take him. He's solid. Like that's all it
Yeah.
is. He is solid. He makes the right passes. He keeps the ball moving. He's very unselfish. Good effort on both sides of the ball. He's not no
Mhm.
lockdown defender, but he's going to try his hardest on both sides of the ball. He moves off ball. He plays team first. He's not going to shot check or anything, and he's just a solid shooter and a solid defender. Really solid. If we could see him turn into a, because I don't think he's going to be able to develop his athleticism to an elite
Mhm.
level.
Yeah.
So if we can see him getting from like solid to like above average defender with as a good shooter, that's like his peak. I don't think he's going to turn into anything too special, but I just think he's a solid little role player. He'll
Mhm.
hopefully be able to build a career in the NBA for a long time to come. Do you have a player comparison for him?
No.
I don't either. He's just solid. Fifth, 26. Oh, yeah, it is my pick. I thought it was you again. 26 is Dallas, and this perk worked out perfectly that they would get Mark Williams at 26
Yeah.
because they severely need a center. Mark Williams is someone that as you can see, is pretty low on. Even though Mark Williams is 21 on my board and he just got picked 26, which honestly isn't that big of a fall off. But
Mhm.
they're just the teams from 21 to 25 just didn't really need a center.
Mhm.
Or they took one earlier and they wouldn't take one again. But as far as Mark Williams goes, he's patient around the rim, a solid rebounder on both offense and defense, solid lob there with a 7'7" wingspan, good in the pick and roll, plays vertical on defense, which leads to blocks. He has great timing on blocks and keeps the ball in bounds on blocks. He's a good post defender and he's capable enough to move his feet on the defender or
I think he
on
gets
defense.
blocks. I think he gets blocks, guys. I
Yeah,
don't
he gets
know.
some blocks, guys. Um, he needs to improve his hands. He can fumble the ball often on some catches and things like that. He doesn't have the best touch around the rim, and he doesn't have really much of a post game, and he has no shooting promise. Like
Mhm.
free throw, I mean, he's a good free throw shooter, I guess, but like 3-point shooter, he took one 3-point shot in his whole college career.
Yeah.
And he missed it. He often can fall asleep on defense or focus too much on getting unnecessary blocks. Like his teammate will be contesting someone who's going up, and then he'll run over and then end up getting a foul. So that's something that could be coached. But I just think he's solid, and the Mavericks definitely need a big. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't
Yeah,
have
I
a
have
player
nothing to
comparison
say.
for him.
I have
He's
nothing to say about him.
he's just
You
solid.
pretty much covered it.
He's really just solid. You can go ahead and think about who you're going to take. I'm going to get an update on the Mavs Warriors game, just so we're.
All right. So it's the Heat's pick, correct? Okay. Cool.
It is correct. That is correct. It's halftime. Mavs Warriors 45, Mavericks 54 Warriors. I'll
Okay.
give you some updates on stats. Luca has 18.
Oh wow.
Because he's just him. Dinwiddie has 7. But for the Warriors, Wiggins 15, Curry 12, Jordan Poole 11.
Okay.
Clay has 0. I don't know if
Mm,
he hasn't taken any shots, but Clay has 0.
Okay. The pick is in.
With a 27th pick.
The Heat select Marjon Beauchamp.
Beauchamp.
Beauchamp?
I don't know.
I don't know.
These later names are pretty tough to say. I'm not gonna lie.
He has good athleticism. He has good scoring traits, instincts with the ball. He can shoot off the dribble, and he's a solid passer. But his downside is he's an athlete, but doesn't have that explosive ability.
Mhm.
Like he won't get you that sudden burst out of nowhere. You know,
He's
he
powerful,
can
not
improve his
explosive.
strength. Yes, although he can improve his strength, improve the rebounding and playmaking, and just his playmaking ability in general.
Mhm.
His player comp for me is like a poor man Zach Levine, dude, just because of the athleticism.
A very poor man's Zach Levine. Like
Yeah,
this man we're talking about is very well below the poverty line. Like this
yeah.
is great value, Zach Levine. But yeah, he definitely needs to improve as a 3-point shooter.
Hmm.
But I mean, if he's just going, you have him going to Miami.
I have him going to Miami just because of that depth.
He's probably not going to even play in Miami. He's going to be on the G League. But like,
Probably.
yeah, I can see it. I guess like for them, they're just drafting for upside. Like they don't really
Maybe just to like develop him,
right.
if anything.
There's literally no huge like spill I have on this guy at all.
Yeah.
So we got Golden State 28. Then you have Memphis up next. I'm making sure I didn't miss anyone. Got to look at my board. Oh, wow.
I wish I had Golden State's pick. Actually, nah. You should hopefully get someone that I would like for them to take. Although I'm not a Golden State fan.
Let me check my notes on this guy. Yeah, this is gonna be the pick.
Okay.
What positions I have him listed at? Well, I'll just say the pick now until I can find, bro. But I have them taking Wendell Moore out of Duke. Wherever he is. Oh, here he is. So I have them taking Wendell Moore out of Duke. He has 3-and-D potential, loads of versatility on defense, a good athlete, a solid playmaker. His jump shot can be inconsistent. He has questionable shot selection, and he's undisciplined on defense. No player comparison. He's just solid.
Not a high ceiling, but a high floor.
Yeah, he'll at the bare minimum, if he can develop, be a solid 3-and-D player. But I don't have much to say about him. He's probably also not going to play for the Warriors. He's going to be on the Santa Cruz team, G League.
He has a good assist turnover ratio, skilled physical slasher with great playmaking skills. He has a mid-range jumper. He avoids bigs with his vertical. It scares me though, because it reminds me of like a Kuminga type thing. He has a 6'11" wingspan. He's not the best shooter. Trustworthy. He doesn't really take over as well.
Yeah.
He understands the game though, so that's great.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean he'll learn a lot from being in Golden State. Like if you're struggling shooting, where else would you want to go if it's not Golden State?
For sure.
Bro's gonna go in a 20% 3-point shooter and then come out the greatest shooter of all time. So, but it's you. I don't really have much to say about a Warrior pick, but you do have the Thunder coming up. So I do want to see what you do here because I'm hoping that this guy falls.
You know, Give me Walker Kessler.
Walker Kessler. I like that pick. Bit.
Elite shot blocker, elite disruptor. He has the ability to pick up on pick and rolls. He's good at finishing around the rim. He's very good at the pick and roll game and a great lob threat. But he's not the best perimeter defender. He's like a paint guy. He's
Mhm.
not much of a shooter. He plays. Some of his plays might be resulting in turnovers. Like he doesn't dribble, and he needs to improve on his ability to find the open man. And he isn't so mobile, as I mentioned earlier, with that not being a good perimeter defender. He has a 7'5" wingspan. He's strictly a paint guy, as I mentioned again, and he isn't someone you want outside of the paint. I'm
Mhm.
emphasizing this because you don't want him out there.
Yeah,
He's like a Rudy Gobert type thing.
that's what I have as player comp. I think he's a little more mobile than Rudy.
A
Like as
better
far as
scorer.
straight
Yeah.
line speed, he's faster than Rudy, but like
Oh yeah, for
moving his
sure.
feet, not really.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm cool with that pick. I mean, Memphis again, they don't really need anything too much, so he'll probably
Mhm.
also end up in the G League. Um, this guy fell, and he was 14 on my board, I think. Yeah, 14 on my board, and I just didn't see any team that really would take him. Um, but I'm gonna go Nikola Jovic to the
You
Thunder.
drafted the best guy of all time.
Yeah. I for what I have on him, I think of course the big thing is the potential. Like he
Mhm.
has a lot of potential.
For sure.
I'm trying to find him on my
Is he
board.
from Serbia?
He might be. You got to search that up. I don't know where he's from. He has a quick release on his jump shot, and he's good at creating space. He has shooting potential. Mobile for his size, he can move really well for his size. Fluid and controlled. He's an active cutter without the ball. Good playmaker for his size, and he can run the open floor. His foot speed is very low. And he isn't athletic without a runway. Like if he
He's
has
from
enough
Serbia.
space, all right. If he doesn't have enough room to like get into his dunk or his jump or whatever, he's not very athletic. He's not a good defender. Like the defense is gonna have to be figured out because he can't guard fours because he's not really strong enough really, and then he can't guard threes because he doesn't have the foot speed, and he definitely can't guard fives. So he might just be a bit of a defensive liability. That's the big thing that I don't really love about him. But the
Mhm.
upside is 100% there. His shot selection could be better, but I mean, he was like one of the best players on his team, so he was, taking some pretty
Mhm.
poor shots. But yeah, Nikola Jovic. I think I had him at 14 purely because of upside. Because of course the upside is there.
His biggest strength is passing. As you mentioned earlier, these international players, their strength is passing, period.
Yeah, it's the brand
Like,
of basketball they play. My
yeah,
face cam is so dark. I just realized that.
yeah.
It's still pretty bad, but it's better.
He's not a bad shooter. He'll hit it every now and then.
Mhm.
But he runs the fast breaks very well. He's like a point forward essentially.
Mhm.
And he's like I don't know, like just a great passer who'll hit a shot every now and then.
Yeah,
That's it.
solid, very
Yeah.
solid.
That's all I got.
But let's do a little recap. Number 1, Chet Holmgren. Number 2, Jabari Smith. 3, Paolo Banchero to the Rockets. 4, Jaden Ivey to Sacramento. 5, AJ Griffin to Detroit. 6, Keegan Murray to Indiana. 7, Benedict Mathurin to Portland. 8, Dyson Daniels to New Orleans. 9, Jalen Duren to the Spurs. 10, Ochai from Kansas to the Wizards. 11, Tari Eason Knicks. 12, Shaden Sharp Thunder. 13, Jeremy Sohan Hornets. 14, Johnny Davis Cavaliers. 15, Ty Washington Jr. Hornets. 16, Malachi Branham Atlanta. 17, Oshmane Dieng Rockets. 18, EJ Liddell. 19, Bryce McGowens Timberwolves. 20, Jaden Hardy Spurs. 21, Blake Wesley Nuggets. 22, Kennedy Chandler Grizzlies. 23, Kendall Brown Nets. 24, Patrick Baldwin Jr. Bucks. 25, Christian Braun Spurs. 26, Mark Williams Mavericks. 27, Marjon Bo Peep, I don't know, Miami. 28, Wendell Moore Jr. Golden State. 29, Memphis Walker Kessler. And number 30, Nikola Jovic, Oklahoma City. That is the recap. I'm pretty happy with, as a Thunder fan, if we got Jabari, Shaden Sharp, and Nikola Jovic, I would be ecstatic. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. What's your biggest surprise pick out of anyone I picked?
of
Uh,
you picked?
Yeah.
Where'd that Baylor guy go? Not Baylor. Hold on. Where's that? It's a two-way player. I forgot his name. Give me
Two-way
some.
player. Jabari, Paolo, Jaden, AJ, Benedict, Dyson,
It might have
Ochai?
been Dyson. Or it might have been Ochai. I'm
I
not
think it's Ochai.
sure. Yeah, I think it's Ochai.
I
That
think
surprised me.
I think
I
the
completely
biggest
forgot about him.
yeah. My biggest surprise pick for you, I didn't think you were gonna go Ty for the Hornets, but it makes sense now that you explained it. I thought it was fine. Um,
Like I
yeah,
think Ty would be a good bench piece, if anything.
yeah,
He
he's
doesn't
not
need to start for that team.
right.
Yeah.
They don't need a draft a starter at 15. Like,
If they get that bench piece, he can be a good bucket, 6-man, get those points off the bench, keep them in games.
yeah, definitely. Just depth. You can never
Mhm.
have too much depth.
Mhm.
The Mark Williams to Memphis pick was or to Dallas pick was perfect because they just needed a big, and
Yeah.
none of the teams needed a center
Needed one.
because Atlanta has Clint, Houston gets Paolo, and then they have Christian Wood and Sengun. Liddell to Chicago, they already have Vucevic. Timberwolves have Cat. Spurs, you had draft Duran, so they wouldn't have taken one. Nuggets, Jokic, of course. Memphis, Jaren Jackson Jr., Steven Adams, those guys.
Yeah.
Nets, they have Andre Drummond, LaMarcus Aldridge, those guys. Bucks, Giannis, Bobby Portis, Brooke Lopez. Like, you're not taking a big. Spurs already got Jalen Duran, and then it just fell to Dallas's lap, and they needed a center, and they get one of the better
Mhm.
ones in the class. Um,
Although this is a very guard heavy class, like
yeah, very
shooting guard forward heavy.
yeah, because point guards we had Ivy,
Kennedy.
Dyson, and then Ty. I think those were the only four who got taken.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but I like how this turned out. I think I'm happy
Yeah.
with every pick. First overall, Chet Holmgren. Who knows if that's going to stay the same come a week from now? Shoot, tomorrow I might be like, you know what, the Hornets or the Magic should go with Jabari Smith. Top three is very close. I think every team won the draft. I don't think there's any team that lost. I
Hmm.
think there's some teams that missed out on some guys. Like, of course, Pistons would have wanted Jaden Ivey. Um, Another example, I think the Nuggets would have wanted EJ Liddell if he had been in there
Yeah.
more, things like that. Ousmane Dieng. I could have saw the Spurs taking Ousmane Dieng.
I
But
think
yeah,
maybe the this is a bit of a reach-ish kind of,
mhm.
but instead of taking Jovic for the Thunder with a 30th pick, you guys could have taken Dalen Terry out of Arizona.
Yeah. I just think up for the Thunder, we got our guys who are gonna, Shaden Sharp and
Yeah.
Jabari are gonna be
You
on the
guys have your
roster.
guards.
Yeah, our
So
roster is full, so Jovic
yeah.
can go to the Oklahoma City Blue or whatever our G League affiliate is
Hmm.
called. But there's just a lot of things we could that could go on in this mock draft.
Yeah.
Shoot, maybe we do another one in the future more close to the draft where I get more of a detailed thought on the 30.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty happy with this. I think
Yeah, for
if
sure.
this is how it played out, I think every team would be interesting to watch for some reason or another. Like on this end, you already have your contenders, other than, like Thunder. We're not a contender. But I will watch the Spurs more. I'd be interested in watching Jaden Hardy and DeJounte Murray and Jalen Duren because I like all of those players.
Mhm.
Some early teams. I will watch the Magic because, Chet Holmgren, you want to see the first overall pick play.
Yeah.
Jalen Green and Paolo Banchero would be really fun to watch. Jaden Ivey, De'Aaron Fox would be very fun to watch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The Pistons are already pretty decent to watch, and then you get AJ Griffin, Keegan Murray to Indiana. It's cool. I like that fit. Dame, Benedict Mathurin. Let's see how that duo works out. Pelicans, assuming they're healthy, or Zion's healthy because everyone else is good, but assuming Zion's there, Dyson Daniels could be a nice little fun player to watch there. The Wizards, to see what they do in free agency, how good Ochai is going to be, and then Tari Eason is going to be really exciting to me. I look
Mhm.
forward to watching not all of these guys. Like I really don't plan on watching much Marjon Bo Peep or Wendell Moore or like Patrick Baldwin. I mean, I'll watch
Mhm.
the Bucks, so in turn, I'll watch Patrick Baldwin if he's playing. But the guys I look forward to watching, honestly, this could be a two-way question for both of us. Who are the three guys you look forward to watching to the most once they get drafted?
Chet,
Just one, of course.
Benedict,
Okay.
because I picked him pretty high,
hmm
and probably. You scroll down for me real quick.
Yeah, I got you.
Thank you. I guess like Johnny. I don't know. I could really go with anyone.
I really want. I look. There's a lot of guys who I'm like, I really want to
Yeah.
watch. I think for
I
me,
mean, actually, no. I take that back.
who?
Shaden Sharp.
Shaden Sharp. Yeah, because this we don't know what we're getting from Shaden Sharp. That's really
Yeah.
interesting to me. I'm really interested in watching Sohan because I don't know how good he's going to be in the league. I really think he could turn into something really special, though.
Mhm.
Dyson Daniels is my boy going to the draft. Every year, I have a guy who's my boy who I'm rooting for, and Dyson Daniels is my guy. Even though the Thunder better not take him, but yeah, Dyson Daniels is my guy. Who
My
I'm
guy
looking
this year is
forward to.
Benedict.
Benedict and Dyson, and we have them
Yeah.
going 7 and 8. So hey,
Mhm.
funny how it works out that way. Another guy I'm really interested in watching is Jaden Ivey, depending on where he goes. Like if he goes to Sacramento or even Houston, if he ends up going with Jalen Green and Jaden Ivey, that'd be a nice little fun backcourt.
He'll be electric.
Yeah. The Kings backcourt should be really electric if this is how it plays out. Both of them like to run the court. And then
For sure.
if he ends up in Detroit, that would also be really fun to watch. Another guy I'm really interested in watching, Jalen Duren. I think he's going to be solid. And then whatever we get from Jovic, if he ends up falling this far down, or if he ends up going to a lottery team who likes him a lot.
Nuggets.
Yeah, and then just go with this twin, Jokic, and
Mhm.
create the greatest duo of all time. But yeah, I like this class. I really like this class. I think it's really interesting. Like I'm really invested in every player up to 18, and then from 19 to 30, I have a couple guys who I'm cool with, and then everyone else I'm just like, hey, they could be a solid role
less
player.
interested in them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they'll be cool to watch, but not really.
Yeah, out of
zoomed in
guys
on them.
from 19 to 30, the ones I'm most interested in are, I guess, Mark Williams, but that's mostly because he's on the Mavericks, and then
Yeah.
or he would end up on the Mavericks in this draft. Walker Kessler, because I think he could be kind of solid, and then Jovic, of course, because you know how he ends up being. But the other guys, I'm just like, they're solid. They all fit a similar prototype.
Yeah.
Like
I want to see Blake Wesley, see how he does, or whoever the
Yeah.
Nuggets end up drafting. I wouldn't be mad about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For me, another like just honorable mention would just be whoever the Thunder get, because of course I'm going to be interested to see who we take at 2, 12, and 30. But specific players, those are my guys. I think
The Giants got who you wanted.
Yeah,
Happy with that.
I've been fortunate this year. This is a great year. I'm finally getting to enjoy being a Thunder fan for once and a Giants fan, because becomes a fan. Giants lose Odell like 2 years later, who is the reason you become a fan. Then we draft Daniel Jones. Like the first draft where I was like really hyped as a Giants fan was the Daniel Jones draft. And I was so confused why we took him over.
That was the
Dwayne
19th class, right?
We took him over Haskins and we took him over Drew Lock. And I was like, okay, if we're not getting Kyler, because Kyler's going to Arizona.
Yeah.
I want Haskins or Lock. I don't know why I was so high on Lock. I remember like a month or two ago, I was looking at old takes I had on my phone, and one of them was like, why would we take Daniel Jones if Drew Lock is there? And now looking at it now, it's really not a big deal, because they're both not that great of quarterbacks. But yeah, just a rough start to being a Giants fan, and then we suck for every year after that. Then as a Thunder fan, I become a fan because of KD, and then
he just leaves.
He leaves, and then we're always getting embarrassed in the playoffs for some years. We have the nice little 7-game series with the Rockets in the bubble. Now we're rebuilding, and it's finally starting to look up for both of my teams.
The Raiders and Nuggets are just mid.
Yeah, y'all are just always,
we're just mid,
solid,
middle of the pack,
make the
barely
playoffs.
making the playoffs. Oh, we're playing the Nuggets, light. We're playing the Raiders, light.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, at least for the Raiders, I mean, for both of your teams next year, you have a lot to look forward to, because everyone's. For the Nuggets, you guys should be healthy. And then for the Raiders, you guys made a lot of big moves, even though, in our prediction video, y'all still ended up missing the playoffs and being last in your division, but it's just because of circumstance.
It's a winning record, but missing the playoffs. It's unfortunate.
Right. It was close, though. I think If I
Mhm.
remember correctly, it was like week 18. There was a scenario where you guys win, but you guys
Mhm.
just didn't have a good matchup.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna stop the share and go to normal. But this has been a good episode. This has been the one we've been
Yeah.
building towards for so long, and it's turned out really well. We've been
We've
recording
probably
for
planned this one more than the first
any
episode.
any other episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we didn't talk about this at all with each other. Um,
Mm-mm.
one last thing I want to do before we end the episode. Uh, I want to know your big board because we made it a rule. Don't tell me your big board.
Mhm.
So give me your top 10 from 10 to 1.
Okay. Give me a second because I need to find them.
Yeah, I could go first if you want me to while you're looking.
Go ahead. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
so 10 I have Benedict Mathurin, 9 I have Johnny Davis, 8 I have AJ Griffin, 7 Dyson Daniels, 6 Shaden Sharp, 5 Keegan Murray, 4 Jabari Smith, 3 Paolo Banchero, 2 Chet Holmgren, 1 Jaden Ivey.
Okay. So 10, I got. Where'd he go? I just saw him. Oh my god. Okay, I got Jalen Duren.
Mhm.
9, Jeremy Sochin. So
Mhm.
Sohan.
Sohan.
Sohan. Yeah, Sohan. Whatever. 8, Benedict Mathurin.
Mhm.
7. Where is 7? Keegan Murray.
Mhm.
8 is. Where's. Oh my gosh. It is not in order. It is not in order.
Tough.
Bro, I have no 8.
Do you at least
I'm
know
at
your 1?
17. Yeah, I know my everything else.
Mhm.
Well, we're skipping 8. We're going down to 7. Keegan Murray.
Uh-huh.
6 is AJ Griffin. 5, Shaden Sharp. 4, Jaden Ivey. 3, Jabari. 2, Banchero. 1, Chet.
It's fair. It's fair. So I think the biggest difference either you and me have is I think you have Benedict Mathurin at 8 or 7.
Oh yeah. Oh, I had Benedict at 8. Bro, I was looking for 8, but I said my 8. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So Benedict at 8, I have him at 10. What do you have Dyson Daniels? Because he's not in your top 10.
Dyson is not in my top 10, I believe.
Because you didn't say him.
Yeah. Dyson is number 12.
I have him at 7. So that's probably the biggest difference. That's a 5
Mhm.
difference.
And then I got Johnny at 11. I know you're not big on him.
I have him at 9. So it's pretty
Okay.
similar. Duran 11, 10 for you. Yeah. So the biggest difference between us is Dyson Daniels 7 and 12.
Yeah.
Do we have any consensus? I want to know. What's your order of the big 3? Chet, Paolo, Jabari.
Jabari, Paulo, Chet.
Okay, so we have the same order on that. Yeah. So our boards line up a little bit. I want to see if there's any other prospects who I wonder where you have them.
Mhm.
Where do you have? You have Tari at 12, huh?
Tari
Mm-hmm.
is at 12. Yeah.
Yeah. So both have them at 12. Another big difference is I have Sohan at 13. You have him at 9. But
Yeah.
I can see it. I definitely see where you're coming from. What do you have Walker Kessler?
Walker Kessler's at 18.
I have him at 15, and he just fell. Like no team
Yeah.
was really looking for a big.
They didn't really need a big. That's why I didn't have them that high. Because
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't really sold on him, but I
Mhm.
like how he's just a vertical threat.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the size. He averaged like 5 blocks a game. So I mean, if someone
Yeah.
averages 5 blocks a game,
Can't
you
pass
look,
up on
you
him. Yeah.
gotta. Yeah. Oh, that's a fake tweet. I thought I saw J.R. Smith signing with the Lakers, but as an assistant head coach. Yeah, that's a fake account. So J.R. Smith is not going to be the assistant head coach of the Lakers.
Mhm.
Just so you guys know. But people like to make fake tweets on Twitter. That's probably my least favorite thing about the app. But that concludes episode 6. Episode 6 of the
Yeah.
Poverty Franchise Podcast. Unfortunately, I don't think we're having an episode this weekend due
I'll be out of
to.
town.
Yeah, you're gonna go to Sacramento.
Mhm.
Yeah, so you're gonna be out of town, and unless something big enough happens to where I feel like I can do an episode by myself, I don't think we're gonna have one this weekend. But we'll be back next Wednesday. By next Wednesday, we should be like at least 3 or 4 games, and not 3. Like I would say like 2 or 3 games into both series.
3
Like,
games in.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see you guys in a week or so, and hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Like, comment,
Thank you.
drop your takes on where you think certain guys will be taken. But yeah, that concludes episode 6, and we'll be back on Wednesday.
Mhm.